Watch your head.
Baron, what was it? Baron
von Blubba.
Schlong.
Don't ask them to remember things. They won't remember. They could have said it to you 5 minutes ago and he still wouldn't know.
Long John von Cockknuckles. That's all I know. Jesus Christ, buddy. Well, that goes.
I wasn't expecting that. See that one coming.
That's not going in. That's what she said.
Oh my goodness. I wasn't expecting that.
Oh, fuck.
Even though I should have. Coming out of your mouth.
Yeah.
You got that right, buddy. Well, fuck. That sounds like a good intro right there. Fuck. Just squeak.
Just leave it as is.
Yeah, just gonna leave it as is.
Just leave it.
Welcome back to part 2 of the Power Trip Gaming Powercast.
2.
Well,
It's part 2.
Part 2.
Because Chris is
Part
still
200.
here.
I never left.
Part 2. Chris never left.
Part 2, the christening. See, there you go.
That sounds like a porn.
It's like no. It's like The Simpsons.
Only gets worse when he starts anointing you.
Stan Lee came back. Stan Lee never left.
I'll anoint you with my holy sprinkler.
Chris Vanderhoef never left.
He never did. But yes, well, it's a kind of a spiritual successor to the last Powercast.
The people that listen to us know we ramble, so we don't always touch on all of our topics.
Not at all. Last time, when Vanderhoef was here, we kind of got to like half of the topics we wanted to talk about, because we ended up rambling about fucking nothing. Well, not nothing necessarily, but just,
Everything and nothing at the same time.
It's what we do.
That's what we do best. So yes, Vanderhoef's back. Vandersnatch, as I call him, like Bandersnatch. If anybody,
Yeah, we get it.
anybody,
We get it.
Well, they don't get it.
Oh my god.
I give them.
I'm pretty sure they got it before you even said it.
I'm fucking all right. That's fair. So yes, Chris, what the fuck did you want to talk about?
See, now you put him on the spot and he doesn't know.
He forgot.
Well, that was a Power Trip Gaming Powercast.
You've been listening with power.
Well, that was easy. 3 minutes. That was
Alright,
easy. That was good.
Power Trip
That's
Quickie.
a new record.
Yeah, Power Trip
Yeah.
Quickie.
That's the longest I've ever gone.
Nah, it's okay. We still have to do the 10-minute Midwest goodbye, so...
Yeah.
No, we'll talk about... We wanted to kind of talk about collecting anyway, because, like, as we had talked about a little bit before, about your collecting the entirety of the Sega Master System collection, complete in box. Insane to me.
Yeah.
But, there we are. But I kind of just wanted to talk about collecting in general anyway, because you're the only friend we have that still collects. Other than me, I guess.
Well, do you even
Paul.
collect? I mean, like, you and Kevin
I don't collect.
don't really collect. You get what you like, while Paul and I go for collections.
I suppose
If you know what I mean.
No, that makes sense.
Try to
You're-
complete, collections.
I'm not
yeah.
going for the Biggest Loser on the DS.
But you know what?
Or
I'm the biggest winner now.
enjoy your... What did I say? $9.05.
You know what?
Enjoy your-
$1 or something, right?
Enjoy your not a video game.
Enjoy your
You know what?
It's $4.
$4 game.
The best thing about this is I already got Paul's gift for Christmas.
I'm gonna get it back. Wow.
Awesome.
No, that's
I love
great.
it.
Genius.
I kind of wish I would have said this on the Video Games Monthly episode we did, but yes, Biggest Loser is not actually a game. You can't play it. You don't play it. It's a calorie counter. It's a recipe.
It is a
book.
It is a simulator.
Basically,
it's not. It is not.
It's a health diary to go along with the lifestyle.
It's an assist,
Yeah.
yes. Which I gotta be perfectly honest. I don't think most people who are working out and losing weight and taking it that seriously have a DS. I mean, that's just
Probably
my
not.
opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. Probably wrong. I'm wrong 90% of the time. But bad marketing there, THQ. Who greenlit that fucking project?
Well, whoever they are, they're probably no longer with the company.
Is THQ even still a thing?
THQ Nordic.
Nordic. Yeah.
Nordic.
Oh, that's right. Nordic swept them up.
Yeah, because Nordic was doing... They had
Well,
done...
there's something different now. They're not-
It's just THQ Nordic.
I didn't think they were even called that. I thought they renamed.
No, because they still do Darksiders and stuff under THQ Nordic.
Right, but I
yes,
thought they
yes. Rebranded.
I thought they rebranded.
Holy cow! They came out with the Biggest Loser on the Wii, the Xbox 360, the DS, and that's it. Actually,
Except for I think the Wii version's an actual like exercise thing.
the Wii version is the most expensive. Complete $6.33.
Yes.
Yep, it is.
Oh yeah, I guess they are still a thing.
Xbox 360 is $6.20, and the Nintendo DS complete $4. If it was sealed, it'd be worth $4.38.
38 cents more.
Yep.
Wow.
Oh,
See, we're already rambling on stuff that had nothing to do with the topic.
Oh,
because-
wait a minute.
yeah.
Oh, that's right. I suppose THQ is doing Elix.
Oh yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's it.
All right, and Elix 2 is coming out soon.
I might already be out
Oh, it could be.
because I saw people playing it. Like some of the channels I actually watch.
Yeah. All right. So we've established THQ Nordic is still a thing. But either way, yes. So the main topic, as I had mentioned, is collecting again, because since we started Power Trip in 2015, right?
Mm-hmm.
Prices have jumped so much. A lot of these games that we did our is it worth it?
Yeah.
Retrospectives thing. A lot of these prices have doubled, right? So, as I mentioned before, I've been on a survival horror kick. I accidentally won Kuon, and it kind of spun off accidentally. It kind of spiraled out of control, and now
No, I know what you mean. It's
yes, now I'm at a point where it's like, well, I've already got it. I might as well just go for these other fucking games. Like, recently, my big pickup, Rule of Rose. Wow. I know. Currently, price charting, $6.50.
Mm-hmm.
I won it for $4.25.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Don't know how that happened. I 100% was expecting to get sniped on the last 10 seconds, like always, and for some reason, nobody bit. I mean, it was complete. It was great condition.
It is the U.S. version, right?
Absolutely the U.S. version, because the Japanese version doesn't really go for over, like, maybe 300.
Well, I was wondering if maybe it was PAL.
No. I don't...
I'm actually gonna look up.
I don't think it is.
I'm gonna look up which.
Well, did you get it yet?
No.
No, I just won it yesterday,
okay.
so it hasn't shipped yet.
But the
I mean, I could
pictures-
look up the winning thing right
You'd
here.
be able
Oh.
to see if it has ESRB or the PAL rating.
It's the right one. I know which one I bid. I swear to fucking Christ. If
Was
I
it
bought the
on-
wrong one.
Was it on eBay?
Let's see. Of course it was on eBay.
See, and this is-
Purchases.
I'm not seeing any.
So
That's,
I'm sorry. I won it for $4.56.
It's a
My bad.
bootleg.
I'm not.
456. Rule of Rose, U.S. version.
Okay.
Someone's CD.
Rare with manual. There you go. 456. My bad. Not $4.25.
I'm not even seeing that one sold.
It's because I stealth bought it, bitch.
No, shut up.
No. So, like I said, almost 200 under what it actually goes for.
Yeah.
Didn't think that was gonna fucking happen, but there you go. So I got in this mindset lately of, I got this. I got Rule of Rose. I bought Haunting Ground not too long ago. It's like I almost feel like I have to get these games now because they're already jumping in price. Like Kuon, I won for $6.10.
Yeah.
It's already in a month gone up to $7.90. That was the highest spike it had so far, and it's kind of dipped back down to $7.70. But
Well-
like, it's already jumped $120 since I bought it.
Well, and part of me wonders because like the way price charting like it basically watches all the active things.
Yeah.
I wonder how much that is influenced by even just one copy selling. Like that's the only
Yeah.
problem with like stats like that is they're a little like iffy. Like yeah, they're great for long-term tracking of stuff, but sometimes in the short term, a single buy will spike the value of something
Yeah.
and not actually reflect what the value is.
Right.
So
It's not like when Paul bought that one game and he like literally directly influenced the price off of his one win. What one was that?
Back in the day, it was Wayne's World.
Wayne's World.
Wayne's World. I bought it for $96, and it was actually price on price charting reflected what I had actually paid for the game.
Yeah.
For like a week or 2 weeks or something like that, because there was just so few sales to.
Yeah, you gotta wait for it to catch up.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the thing is Rule of Rose has so many listings
Yeah.
for that game, especially for some reason the Japanese version.
Well, and
There are
that's,
a fucking ass ton
I think
of
it's
Japanese
because it was
versions
never
on there.
taken off the market in Japan. It was taken off the market in the United States. Though.
Oh,
right.
that could be.
Yeah.
That could
well,
very
and see, and that's why, like, I wonder is because, like, so it follows them, and it probably doesn't sell as often as
Yeah.
some other stuff. So, because like the survival horror genre, while it's big, doesn't quite have the same selling power that other genres do.
Yeah.
especially here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because for some reason, well,
Like
we're
outside of
Western,
outside of like Silent Hills and
Yeah.
Resident Evils, the survival horror. There's a ton of games. No one talks about any of them.
well, that's because too those games cater more to our style of action horror.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the original Resident Evil compared to like the later entries.
Yeah.
Look how vastly different they are. I mean,
But it's part of the staying power of the franchise that
Mhm.
that it knows how to evolve and when to evolve.
would you really call 6 an evolution? Or an evolution in the wrong.
no.
I consider that devolving. 'cause-
Well, technically, I mean, honestly, why they continued in the vein that they were doing is Resident Evil 5 became the best-selling Resident Evil game, like in their franchise.
which surprises me because 4 was
Really?
such a
Yeah.
phenomenon.
Well, it's because 4 did so well that people were so pumped for
For 5.
because Chris was back.
Yep.
yeah,
And
but-
so because it sold
And
in the
Sheva,
numbers
I
that
mean-
it did, they just continued that action versus the survival horror elements. Although
But then-
there was a lot more survival horror elements, I think, in number 6 than there were in number 5.
To be honest, there but with 5 there was also a bit of controversy with the game that helped it sell.
What was the
What was
controversy?
that?
Resident Evil 5, you're a white man running around Africa.
that's right. You were in a
Oh.
third world country.
Oh,
Yep.
right.
So there was a lot of controversy that people were just kind of like, huh? And it was getting blown out of proportion by certain media outlets.
Of course.
So more people were interested in seeing it and checking it out and doing stuff.
Gotcha.
So that probably did boost sales to a
Yeah,
certain
maybe.
degree.
And at the end, he punches a boulder in
Yeah.
a volcano.
Well,
I mean,
And then
come
it
on.
jumps
And
the
then-
shark
yeah.
at the end. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
really. But then 6 came out. I don't think it really sold
well, that's
all that well.
because there's the giraffe on the front
was
being.
just gonna say that.
maybe, yeah.
Yeah,
But,
giraffe.
and then that's when they decided, okay, we need to go back to the roots. We need to kind of reimagine the Resident Evil series the way that it was intended to, and then 7
Biohazard. And,
Seven
seven.
was
Well,
so
and then PT
great.
came out
Well,
and changed the course of
PT
what 7 and stuff was going to be.
Exactly. I can tell you right now is that Resident Evil 7 was heavily influenced by PT because they knew how successful PT was.
Well,
just
and then
a demo.
Yeah.
once
Just
PT
a
got
demo.
canceled, I guarantee you that was their we need to fill this void as
it now.
quickly as possible.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
Granted, they knew what they were doing and they did it well
Yeah.
because 7 was amazing.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that game.
So,
7 brought it back to where it was supposed to be.
Yes.
yeah.
Which I kind of wish they would have just hard cut. Don't bring because it
Just
doesn't.
restart the series.
Yes.
That was-
Don't bring Chris into it. Don't start bringing other shit into it. Like they should have just said, "Fuck it, 1 through 6, you're done. Let's start a new thing with this."
Yeah.
What's his name? Ethan
Well,
Winters
Ethan,
or whatever.
Ethan Winters.
yeah.
Yeah, it's only
Winters.
7 and
Yeah.
8 with Ethan, then his
But-
story's done.
Yeah, but then that's the thing though, is that Resident Evil has always been different from Silent Hill in the sense that Resident Evil, the stories all interconnect. They
Somehow,
tell
usually,
the
yeah.
same big overarching story. There may be other like new characters here and there, like Sheva or Ethan, but they all play into the bigger
Right.
world of it. Silent Hill has always been different in the sense that Silent Hill is the only thing that keeps the games together. It
Yeah.
is an anthology series where it's different characters in different elements that are really not connected, except sometimes they will make that connection, like the whole Sunderland. James Sutherland was the protagonist of number 2. His father ended up being the apartment owner of
and-
4.
What?
Well, and at
I
least
never
in,
played 4.
Spoilers.
at least in Silent Hill, they're more of like the
It's a
movie style
21-year-old
Easter
game.
eggs
I've
rather
never
than
played it yet.
than,
Except
like,
for maybe
Yeah, it's been more like that, but basically Silent Hill has been more of an anthology series that is told in the same location, but the characters are always going to be different and not always connected.
Well, it's not
So
even
the
technically
only
the
real
same.
difference would be between 1 and 3.
It's not even technically the same location.
Well, 1 and 3 was the only one that was the direct sequel.
Right. Because Heather.
You could
what's her
argue,
name?
Heather Mason.
Heather Mason, and then but her actual name is what?
Cheryl.
Cheryl.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's right, and it was Cheryl. And you could almost argue that 4 tried to kind of follow 2 in a sense, but it was definitely not like 3 was with 1.
Right.
And then from that point on, they just didn't care about keeping anything like. There was no cohesive storytelling. It's just the town itself that is the common linchpin of it all.
Yeah.
Holding it together.
It's. Where were we going with that?
All I know.
We're talking about survival horror, and how it was identified.
Yeah.
Resident Evil and Silent Hill have always been the 2 faces of survival horror.
Yes.
And even though
Well, at least here in the West.
even though those ones have been very well received, very popular, survival horror as a whole is just not that big in the West.
Yeah, because I mean we have the 3 Clock Tower games here,
Yes.
and well, right now they're very expensive with the exception of 3 for the PS2, but I remember renting 1 as a kid, but never really knew much about the other ones. I somehow have 2, and I don't remember where it came from, which thank God,
That was
because
expensive.
Clock Tower 2 right now is almost like $400.
Yeah, well, you keep that game.
Yeah, it's not great.
It's a terrible game.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah.
But it's... yeah, then you had, what did we say, Techno's Deception, which I think that's even a series, because you have that. I want to say Trapped for the PS2 is part of the Deception series. We had Deception 4 not long ago on the... Would you say it was PS4?
It was PS3 and Vita originally, and then
Yeah.
there was a complete edition, I guess, that got released on PS4.
Yeah, so it's like there are like offshoots of survival horror here, but
Well,
they
and-
never really pick up steam.
Well, and
like
then you
Resident Evil
got
and Silent Hill did.
games like The Thing, PS2.
Yeah.
Great survival horror. Extermination, PS2 again. Amazing. You have the Cold Fear game on PS2 and original Xbox. How many Wii games that came out that were
Calling, Cursed Mountain.
Yeah.
They had a Dead Space on there.
Yeah, and
One.
then you got Dead Space is the only other
Grudge,
survival
yeah.
horror franchise that took off over here, really.
Yeah.
Because there's been 4 of them.
Which ones?
Dead Space.
Dead Space.
It's 3 or 4.
3, and then
And
there's
then
the
three-
shooting one.
And then the spin-off.
Dead Space
Yeah.
Extraction.
Yeah.
Extraction was the one for the Wii.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the the rail.
Yeah, because
shooting.
it's because there's the 3 you play as Isaac or whatever, and then
no, I've never played them. I would like
your
to.
brother played them.
My
he
brother
loved them.
and I would
So-
love to play them, but I'm not. I have them. I think. No, I don't even think I own them.
I think you own the first one.
But yeah, it's just it's a fascinating kind of genre, but like the price almost kind of reflects it.
Yeah.
Survival horror is stupid expensive. Here,
Yeah.
anyway, because I mean, you look at the difference between even Rule of Rose for ours and then like Japanese version. There's like almost a $300 or $400 disparity,
Yeah.
and even like Haunting Ground,
Yeah.
and what was it called in Europe? With Demento, I think, something like that.
Was it?
Yeah,
I didn't
it's
realize
not called.
I didn't realize it had a completely different.
Yeah, I want to
title.
say it's called Demento in either PAL and Japanese, maybe. But I want to say we're the only ones that are Haunting
Yeah, it's
Ground.
Demento in Japan.
Okay, yeah.
$45 complete.
Right? Ridiculous.
That's weird.
For us, it's like $350.
Yeah.
So it's just
Yeah, I don't understand why the NTSC ended up becoming like the main one that people want.
yeah. And I almost wonder if it is because of that. Like, it just never took off here. So
Yeah.
like,
Well, and there's only
so few were made, but
there's-
rarity doesn't necessarily equate.
there's only 2 things I can
Right.
think of, like A, rarity, or B, in the case of like Resident Evil and stuff like that, where the game directors basically view the English versions as the ideal proper way to go through it.
Yeah.
They actually record them with like the English dialogue and all of that, and that's how they intend for them to be viewed. So our version is the proper version.
I
Maybe.
suppose that makes sense, considering
'Cause
like,
there
you
are-
look at JRPGs.
Yeah.
They're primarily made Japanese, and then they're translated for us.
Yeah.
Whereas I wonder if those are created for us and then
Well, no,
translated the other way
or
around.
they're created in like homage to like the old B-style movies and stuff like Resident Evil was.
Yeah.
To where it's like, well, this is what directly influenced me, so this is the way I'm going to design it. So like there's when they localize them, there's less expensive for them to bring them over and stuff.
Which explains like the opening cutscene of Resident Evil,
Yeah.
where
Which
it's
is-
that campy B horror.
Yeah.
Well, which is funny because they were looking for a way to remake one of their games that they had created in 1988 called Sweet Home, which
Yeah.
was based on a Japanese movie,
Yeah.
which played like a Japanese movie. I mean, and then when they redid it for Resident Evil to try to update it, then it went to the B horror movie type genre, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, and George A. Romero was a huge influence on them.
Oh yeah.
I'm just surprised that that it went in that direction, but it obviously, history has shown it worked.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Well, especially at the time, it was really unique.
Mhm.
Zombies back then weren't like played out the way they currently are.
You can
Yeah.
thank Walking Dead for that.
Well,
Yeah,
not just Walking Dead. Like
brought that
there's
shit to the forefront.
yeah,
like
like
crazy.
they
Well,
were
it just-
everywhere for a while.
yeah, no, zombies and vampires have always been kind of like
Oh yeah.
people have paid attention to them, but yeah, Walking Dead being brought to the masses through A&E like that.
AMC.
Actually, yeah, AMC. I'm sorry.
And
AMC.
and then it just blew out. Like you had everything copying zombies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got sick of that fucking trend for a while. But yes, price. God damn it, you guys.
Big sidetrack there.
Big sidetrack. But it brings up the thing of like, I almost feel like I have to jump on these games now before they become out of reach.
Yeah.
Like Blood Will Tell is another one I've been looking for
Yeah.
PS2. For some reason, I'm stuck in the PS2.
Well,
like
'cause
I've been
that's-
collecting a lot of PS2 games.
To be
lately.
honest,
PS2
for
had
retro
a
gaming, I
huge-
think it's the golden zone.
it had a huge library.
Yeah.
It was around for a long time, and they produced a lot of stuff for it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and a lot of good stuff too.
That's why I mean it's the golden zone for like retro
Mhm.
stuff, because you want action, it's got RPGs, it's got horror, it's got like everything you could
everything.
want,
Yeah.
and the majority of them are technically great and still play amazingly well.
Yeah.
Not so much can be said about some of the games on like NES and stuff. Go back and play them, you're like, what were they thinking?
Yeah. I
So,
feel like
N64 is the biggest one.
Yeah,
there,
N64 is real
where
bad for
I
it.
cannot, I still cannot
Especially the
fathom
look.
how back in the day when we used to play like N64 games and we thought, man, this is not like the graphics are just insanely
It's
good. Like, look
crazy.
at this. And now you try to play like GoldenEye and you're just like, what am I looking at? Why? Like, how do I move?
Well, and the funny thing is, like, well, yeah, moving on the N64 was just garbage. That controller was the stupidest thing ever. But no, and part of it too is modern TVs playing like especially N64 shows the blemishes of the style, like the system,
Mm-hmm.
worse than what like a CRT would.
Oh yeah.
Well, Vanderhoef and I had this discussion one time about like how a lot of people consider like the SNES as like that's the golden age of RPGs, and we were like, to be honest, like PlayStation PS2 is kind of like where
PlayStation had
RPGs
yeah.
erupted.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you got FF7 and stuff on PS4.
I was gonna say
PlayStation.
to be quite honest, Final Fantasy VII, say no more, because
Pretty much.
that's basically what galvanized RPGs in the West
in the
was-
mainstream. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
as much as people love Final Fantasy 4 and 6 and Chrono Trigger, I mean, those are still classics that hold up to this day. Like, there are kids that will still go back and play Chrono Trigger because it's just that fucking good of an RPG. I mean, Jesus, there's a company now that's basically making an homage to Chrono Trigger, that's Sea of Stars.
Yeah.
Which I backed on Kickstarter, by the way. I'm very happy about that. But, I mean, that style is timeless. But at the same time, like, yeah, PS1, PS2, like, that era of games was so vast.
Well,
That
not to
you-
mention, it's funny that like that era is also where certain franchises that have been around for a while already. Shin Megami's a great one. They've been around since Super Nintendo.
Right?
When did they start getting like known? Persona, PS1. Then
Persona
you have,
2, to be honest.
Yeah, and then you had Nocturne, Digital Devil Saga, and stuff on PS2. Pulled Shin Megami from a relatively obscure franchise to, oh my god, you must
Yeah,
play
the
this.
2 Devil Summoner games.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Jesus, they just announced Soul Hackers 2.
yeah.
A fucking game that hasn't come out since, what, the DS? 3DS? I don't even
Some-
remember which
I think it was
one's the
DS.
first Soul Hackers was on, but it's like, never in my life would I thought Soul Hackers would have had a sequel here.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, hell, Shin Megami 5 is still blowing my mind a little bit that released. Because,
Yeah,
like,
Switch
Shin
and
Megami
stuff.
4 released not that long ago, or actually it was quite a bit ago, I suppose.
Yeah.
But like, even that was.
Well,
like,
and you might think it
surprising
might
to
not be
me.
so long ago because then like Persona 5 and then Persona 5 Strikers, so it's still
Nocturne.
it's
had
still
a
technically
revival.
under the umbrella of Shin Megami. So
Yeah, and then like you had mentioned, Nocturne just recently had a revival on the Switch.
Yeah.
And all the other, was it on everything or was it just Switch?
I don't remember, but
But even so, just
That's-
what a weird
yeah.
thing to, you know what I mean? Like it's just very fascinating that how cyclical some of these franchises have become.
Well, and it's weird that like some of like the franchises, I don't think their price points match
Oh God, no.
like where they should be, especially for like those eras of games. Like the Shin Megami, especially like the Super Nintendo ones, I would think they'd be far more expensive than what they are.
Oh yeah, I'm just about to look up Nocturne for the
PS2. Remember for a while it was super
It was
expensive.
super expensive, and then it for some reason it just tanked.
Well, it's just like what was it?
Yeah, right now, $25 complete. for
It's
the
like
PS2.
Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Remember how like stupid hard that got to find, and then
Yeah,
it was
but
stupid
that was-
expensive.
yeah, but
and then
that
all of a sudden
was-
out of nowhere it dropped down to like $10 again.
No. It wasn't out of nowhere. It was when it went to the
Digital?
on the
PS3 store.
the PS3 store, and all of a sudden people could get it for $19.99, and then the price, for some reason, reflected that.
Yeah.
And
Which is one of the few
that-
times that it usually
yeah,
does.
I was gonna say, and so I always thought that when they released a game, like I mean, on the Virtual Console, you have games like Earthbound and Super Mario RPG that they've released so many times, but yet those prices have never been affected by it.
At least with Earthbound, I understand it because that was such a limited way to get that one.
Yeah,
It had to be on which was a DS
it had to be
originally.
on the 3DS.
It had to be 3DS.
And it had to be the new 3DS.
And
if
it
I'm
was
not
only
mistaken.
available for a short amount of time there, and then it got pulled and you couldn't buy it again.
Oh.
Yeah, because
until it
the
went to
new
the
3DS
Switch.
was the only version that could play Super Nintendo games.
Yeah.
And then until it went to the Switch, and then now you have to be subscribed to their thing to get it.
Yeah.
You just can't just go in and be like, oh, I'm going to buy it digital. It's just not available.
So what's
that
funny-
one I get the price still kind of being inflated.
What's funny is Marvel vs. Capcom 2 in December of 2019, complete $70,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Its peak, May of 2021, $211.
Holy cow.
2 years later, even just
Well, go back,
in
how far
5
back?
months after December, it jumped to 140. Where? Why
Well,
did
and-
it double in price in 5 months?
Yeah, I was say considering it was how expensive was it before that? Because I remember it was expensive for a while.
At the most, it was like around 150.
Because I know for a while, like every time we saw it, we'd start laughing at how expensive it was, no matter what version you
Yeah.
were looking at.
Yeah.
Because it was what Xbox, PS2, was
And
it
Xbox and
Dreamcast?
no, it was Xbox, PS2, and the
PS3,
Dreamcast.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
it
Dreamcast.
wasn't PS3 digital. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, like for a while we laughed at how expensive it kept getting, and we're like, we didn't understand. Then all of a sudden, like we said, it just dropped. There's no rhyme or reason to the way these prices work.
No.
It doesn't seem like it. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, okay, yeah, for games that like, okay, yeah, there's only X amount of copies in the world, it makes sense. Stuff like
Panic Restaurant.
Restaurants or the Nintendo
yeah,
Championship,
the NES
States,
ones, yeah,
Surprise
yeah.
Dinosaur Peaks.
stuff like that. Okay, yeah, being more expensive makes sense, but then like you look at other stuff and you're like, it does not make sense why it's going up so much so quickly.
No,
Right.
yeah. No, I don't. I wish I knew what the catalyst was for. I know that a lot of games, and especially in 2020,
Yeah,
obviously we know what happened, but it seemed like people.
something happened.
It seemed like people paid a lot more than, like they were willing to pay a lot more for certain titles, and thus the price of certain video games really started to rise. And then, like around 2021, late 2021, they started to kind of taper off and go back down to where they were. But now all of a sudden, you're starting to see that the games are starting to climb the ladder again, and it's like, what is the reason this time? Like there's no catalyst. There's no reason for it.
Yeah,
Right.
And I do not understand it, and I wish I knew.
and this is economics is one of those things where my brain just goes, no.
Well, the thing that ticks me off though, and I've said this before, and I will say it till my dying breath, is that price charting is probably the best and the worst thing that has ever happened
To collecting.
to video game collecting.
Pretty
Because
much.
people now know and have a baseline, regardless of if that baseline is correct or incorrect.
That's
People have a baseline, and what people have historically done with baselines is they always want to try to get above what that baseline is.
Of course.
So if something is listed on price charting for, we'll just make it an even $100, you're going to get people on eBay who
110.
have these buy it now prices of 120,
Yeah.
130, 150, 200, whatever it is. And the moment that somebody says, all right, you know what, I'm sick of waiting for this game to go down to where it should be, I'm just going to go ahead and pay the 150
Yeah.
or whatever, then all of a sudden everybody's like, hey guys, yep,
this one sold for this.
we got it for
Switch.
150, so now start listing them for 250.
Yeah.
Or you
And
get
And keep going up.
And then it just keeps incrementally going up.
you get those people that are just sick of being outbid.
Yeah.
Or sniped at the last second. You're like, how
Yep.
many of these am I going to have to do before I might as well just spend the 120
Yeah.
and get it over with?
Yep.
So it's like...
Because I don't want to mess around with it. I don't want to risk getting outbid
I'm
again.
guilty of that. I've done it before where a game
Oh, I have
is
too.
100 and I've spent 125 because I'm just sick of losing.
Yep.
It's just, I might as well just fucking pay it. Whatever. You know, so it's, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where, like, I find Vanderhoef's plight.
Well, what's...
Because it's like, geez, I can't even imagine because I...
Have there been any games that you have went to, like, eBay or online for, and you knew that you shouldn't have paid as much as you did for it, but you said, you know what, I have no choice. I have to do this. You're smiling as in,
No,
I think you may have one or two stories here.
Don't
I don't
worry,
know
your
if
wife
I-
won't listen to this.
No, I don't know if I exactly have any stories, because I sit there and I look and look and look, and I try to get it under price charting.
Yeah.
Right.
I try to get the best deal. I'm patient. Well, I'm married too, so that has something to do with it
Oh,
as
yeah.
far as
Yeah.
money
Yeah.
goes. But so I go out there, I try to find the best deal, but there are some times where I'll pay a little more than what it's going for on price charting, depending on what it is and what I'm looking for. Now I'm back on Nintendo kick.
Yeah.
Because now I just picked up Bible Buffet, which completes my Wisdom Tree subset.
Oh, nice.
Hey!
Cool.
Rad Attack, Rad Racket
Oh, Red Racket.
Deluxe
What?
2 or something.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
You sound like you're stroking out.
I'd have
What?
to look it up. Rad Racket Deluxe 2, I think it is what it is.
What was that, a PAL game? or-
AV unlicensed.
Oh, okay.
And
'Cause I was
then-
going to say there was no Red Racket 2.
It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You're saying Rad Racer? You're
Rad-
saying Racket Attack? Where
I think
is he
it's
going
Rad
with this?
Racket Deluxe 2. And then I picked up Mission Cobra
Oh, okay.
for another
Yeah,
that's Bunch
unlicensed,
Games.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Bunch. It's not American. Okay.
Well, I think Bunch did it, but it's Sakin.
Oh, Sachin.
Sachin.
Yeah.
And then I just picked up another one. What was it? It's
That's
that
Rad
one.
Racket.
Oh.
It's got a weird ass cover. Go look it up. I just picked up another one. But anyways, I just picked up 4 unlicensed. And Deathbots. That was the other one.
Oh, Deathbots. Yeah.
Deathbots.
My God, there's a lot of unlicensed games
there is a lot of unlicensed games.
Jesus.
So I just picked up them 4. I actually have another 3 coming. But not-
Awesome.
See, now, like, unlicensed games I understand being more expensive because they were never like, officially sanctioned to be on the system.
No, and they weren't made in great numbers because they didn't have the
Blessing.
well, no, not
backing.
just the
Some of these
backing.
some of these
have the
companies,
backing.
like
Comerica
the Wisdom Tree, like they were a very small company at the
Yeah.
time.
Well, it
so-
was, what was it? Color Dreams turned into Wisdom Tree.
Yeah.
Or was it the
Yeah.
other way around?
No, it was Color Dreams.
Color
and then
Dreams
it
turned into
Wisdom
Wisdom Tree, I think.
But no, but I mean, like, you have games where, okay, so like a contra. What?
Nothing. I accidentally
Where-
looked up Flintstone Surprise at
Oh.
Dinosaur Peak.
So you have
Holy
games. You have
shit.
games like Contra on the Nintendo, which probably, I mean, Nintendo marketed and produced like 1 million copies of it, maybe
Yeah.
1.5 million. But then you have a game like Chiller, which was Color Dreams.
Well,
and
there's two publishers actually of Chiller. I have one of them, and then there's another one.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
But you take like the Color Dreams Chiller game. They couldn't have made more than 10,000 copies of that game.
I can't imagine.
And so it's like, yeah, because it was not only unlicensed, but it was. I mean, there was a very limited amount of stores they could sell it in because.
Of the material of what it was.
Well, not only just that, but what Nintendo used to do is they used to strong arm stores where it's like, okay, if you're going to carry games, then we're going to just stop selling our games to you. Yeah. And so then they said, okay, you know what? No, we're not going to carry anything that's unlicensed by Nintendo because we don't want to lose all of the revenue and cash.
That's why you never saw them in stores.
Yeah. You never saw them at Target, Toys R Us,
Toys R Us, which makes you wonder, where did you hear about these? Where
did you find them?
With those ones, I know
Radio Shack,
maybe, but then like you could probably
Funkoland.
My guess is they probably went to specific churches and directly sold through churches.
Wisdom Tree and
Color Tree. I guarantee you they targeted that way through for younger kids.
Where I found my 13 Sunday Fun Days was at a. It was a religious thrift store.
See,
that's where I found mine.
Oh, that makes sense.
See, like they targeted a very very small market,
and that thrift store was connected to a religious store.
Mm-hmm.
So they were only sold in them stores back in the day.
Sure.
As far as the unlicensed titles, I'm sure it was all advertisements and machine. You had to pick up, magazines had to pick up a phone and probably order them.
Yeah, so about to say, I to the best of my knowledge, I don't remember very many mom and pop game stores back in the day because reselling was not really a thing.
No, it wasn't. And the only games that I ever saw on store shelves or that I saw with regularity, other than the officially licensed games, were the Tengen games.
Mm-hmm.
That was it.
That's how I got.
But that was also because the Tengen games had the backing of basically, was it either Atari or Sega?
Atari. Tengen was Atari.
It was Atari. So it's like Atari already had a big following with everything that they did. So it's like they could afford to mass produce them and put out a lot of copies.
And it must have been enough considering a lot of those Tengen titles did end up getting official Nintendo releases.
Nah, I wouldn't say a lot.
Gauntlet,
RBI,
RBI,
Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Yeah. I mean, you had quite a
handful.
Those are the only three. I mean, I guess Tetris.
Scoon? Was Scoon I'm thinking Tubin.
Tetris was Tengen, but that was before they had finished the rights to putting it on home consoles.
And that's
when they got the cease and desist and had to stop selling it because Nintendo got the rights to it.
Gotcha.
So technically, I guess 4 Tengen games came out as licensed.
I'm sorry. Pac-Man was as well too.
Yeah,
Pac-Man licensed as Namco and licensed as Tengen.
Yes, but it was officially licensed as Tengen first.
So there's only 3 Tengen licensed games.
Mm-hmm.
Pac-Man, Gauntlet, and then. Oh my goodness.
Tetris?
No, not Tetris.
Not Indiana Jones.
RBI Baseball.
RBI Baseball.
Okay. Yep. Which is funny because I have some of those as Tengen games. I want to say my RBI Baseball is Tengen.
Yeah, it's a black cartridge. Yeah, and mine's the gray one. Yep.
Yeah.
Roadrunner.
That's another. I finished that subset to Tengen.
Yeah. Well, there's not too many Tengen games. There's what, like 20?
20-some.
25
Tetris
at most. Tetris is the most expensive, but it's only like
80.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's maybe $100 loose. I was honest. I was thinking about going after Tengen games, but it's not
not too hard.
Yeah, but I don't have the nostalgia for Tengen games.
No,
you
didn't play Roadrunner growing up like I did.
No, never played Roadrunner.
Syndrome?
Never played Alien Syndrome. Never did Tubin.
Tubin.
The only ones that I
played, Fantasy Zone.
The only ones that I played with a lot of regularity were the RBI Baseball games. They did 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, I love RBI Baseball. That's my favorite game.
They got much better too.
Baseball. I've only played one.
Oh, see, no, it was almost like Tecmo Super Bowl type thing where it's like the more as they went on, they got better. Yeah.
Well, it kind of sucks. 2 and 3 are unlicensed. You won't be.
I know.
Oh, we can always do a special.
You can always do a unlicensed Tengen special. Wisdom
there you
Tree.
go.
There you go. Yeah, I wouldn't mind.
Aladdin or Camerica.
I mean, we kind of did. We did a couple of Camerica games that I got from my friend Amy. We did Linus Spacehead. And
I like that one. B-52.
B-52.
Oh yeah.
So that wouldn't be too bad. I looked up what like Linus goes for in a 67 loose.
Yeah.
It went up. It was lower.
Yeah.
I got all the Aladdins for you.
Oh, the Aladdin. Yeah.
It's all new in box,
yeah.
so nothing's open.
I remember back in the day when I first started collecting, you could get those, like the Aladdin deck enhancer, and then all 6 or 7 of the games. People were selling them as lots, complete, like brand new for like $60.
Well, I
$70.
think I got mine off of eBay maybe 5 years ago. It might have been during the pandemic. I think I paid $100 plus shipping.
Oh,
For those people who don't know what this is, what is the Aladdin deck enhancer? Because I'll be honest, when you guys said Aladdin, I was thinking the Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo Aladdin. It's like Disney's Aladdin. It's not that.
No.
So it was something. Think of it like the 32X.
It was a scam.
Think of it like the 32X. It was an attachment that went into the the Nintendo. And then you would put these games into that, and then that's what played them. It was basically their way of getting through the lockout chip on the Nintendo.
Yeah.
And so, but it was games that eventually, I mean, like, was it Dizzy? The Adventures of Dizzy that ended up coming out. Other than like,
there's 2 Dizzy games, Fantastic Adventures of Dizzy, and then there's another one.
Yeah.
There was supposed to be another one that came out for the Aladdin, which was never released, if I recall correctly.
I have one of them on Genesis. I have
that's what I'm
Fantastic
thinking
Dizzy.
of. But that's what I'm thinking. They marketed it as on other
there's
systems.
probably I think it's like 7 or 8 games for the Aladdin. Like Paul said,
There were 7 of them. I think.
7.
Yeah.
And then there's I think 2 or 3 that were supposed to come out that are unreleased. They're on the back of the box, I think. Mm-hmm. And it was Camerica, if I recall correctly. But then at some point, I can't remember if I'm remembering this correctly, if it was some company and then Camerica, or if it was Camerica and then another company.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what it was supposed to, like, it was called the deck enhancer.
I think AVG ended an episode.
So it was supposed to actually enhance the graphics too.
It didn't.
So what eventually happened, and it didn't, like Paul said, Camerica must have been the second company, because they ended up going bankrupt, if I recall correctly. So that's why it didn't get pushed any further.
Mm.
It was produced by Camerica, developed by Codemasters.
Okay, that's what it was.
Codemasters. Okay.
So one of them,
Yeah.
Codemasters or Camerica, went out of business. It must have been probably Camerica.
I think it was
Camerica, because Codemasters was still putting out games on the Genesis.
Yeah.
Camerica was the money behind it.
Well, there's 2 other developers behind them too: Oliver Twins and Big Red Software.
Well, Oliver Twins is out of the UK. They created the Dizzy series.
Oh, gotcha.
And so the Dizzy series came out of the UK, so it's more prominent in the UK. And
makes
so
sense.
they ended up going bankrupt. So basically, it just fell dead. So, but supposedly you're supposed to be able to put, if I recall correctly, Nintendo games, I thought, into it, and it's supposed to either enhance them, or they're supposed to come out with more Aladdin games that had enhanced graphics.
And
Which it didn't do.
It didn't do that.
So there were 24 games that were supposed to be released for it by the end of '93. However, only 7 were actually ever released.
Yeah.
Yeah,
7.
I see that.
And one of them, I think, only came with the Aladdin deck enhancer. It did not sell separately, if I recall correctly.
It was one of the Dizzy games.
It was one of the Dizzy.
Probably it was renamed Dizzy the Adventurer, I think,
Mhm.
or Fantastic. I don't remember. But yeah, it looks like Big Nose Freakouts, Dizzy
Yes.
the Adventurer,
Big Nose.
The Fantastic Adventures of Dizzy,
Yes.
Linus Spacehead's Cosmic Crusade, Micro Machines, Quattro Adventure, and Quattro Sports.
Now,
Quattro
those
Sports,
last
that's
4
right.
games actually released on the NES as Camerica
As
titles.
Camerica titles, yeah, that's
Well, Big Nose did too.
I want to say yes.
Or did they?
I don't think Big Nose did.
I have
Well,
Big Nose.
because one of the ones that say they were unreleased were canceled was B-52, which was
Which
released
Which
by
came out
Comerica.
as Comerica.
Big Nose the Caveman, CJ's Elephant Antics, Go Dizzy Go, Metal Man, like all these goofy ones.
Yeah, those
Couple of
never.
sports
That didn't
games.
release.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just kind of fascinating because even some of the ones that were on this Quattro Adventure, Boomerang Kids, Super Robin Hood, Treasure Island, Dizzy, and Linus Spacehead, but it was, yeah, it's just.
And they finally
weird
released.
thing.
They released 3 Quattro games because you had arcade, sports, and
And the adventure one, yeah.
adventure.
Mm-hmm.
So Comerica was. It was odd. I mean, because you had those cartridges, you had the gray cartridges, but then you also, I believe it was Comerica, where you had the switch on the back. They
Yeah.
said, try A. If this doesn't work, do B. And
Yeah,
it's supposed
it
to
was
get
the
by
Comerica-
the lockout.
It was the Comerica
Now,
carts.
I know we're so way off topic here, but
That's what this is about.
B-52 is $21, loose, by the way.
I didn't bring the manual, but for Deathbots, it's a AVE unlicensed title. I think that's American Video Game Entertainment.
Yeah, American Video.
The back of the manual, it says, if your cartridge does not work, you will need to take it to someone, not certified, but someone who knows electronics. And it means you have a Revision 11 NES. And they actually show you in the back of the manual how to open up your NES.
And get by it?
And
To solder it to mod it. Oh
to-
god.
Well, to see if you're on Revision 11, and it shows you how to solder it
Yeah, to
over
bypass it.
resistor 18 to bypass
Which
the
game is
lockout.
this?
This is
Deathbots?
Deathbots. Yeah.
it's not the game. Yeah,
In the manual.
It's in the manual.
it's in the manual, and I think the same thing is in the manual for Wally No Gang Bear. I think it's called. And then
What?
Wally Bear and the No Name Gang. I think that's what it's called on NES.
God, what a name.
But they say if you take it and get it done, and something about like a proof of purchase or something, they'll give you $10 off an AVE game.
So basically, like,
They show you
this
how to mod
revision,
it.
whatever. Basically, Nintendo said these guys are fucking with us. Let's create a new lockout version.
That's what it sounds like.
maybe.
And apparently it's
Shit.
just resistor 18. They showed it, and they show a jumper, so you jump out, lock. I guess you jump
That's
over
fucking
resistor 18, so
crazy.
you don't lock it
Yeah,
up.
that's
I
crazy.
should have brought the manual, but they had pictures on how to do it, or they have the little form saying it was, you send it in, it was something like, I certify that I went and got this done, and then they'll give you like a $10 off one of their games.
How'd they get away with that? Like, you figure somebody would have tipped them off about it. They'd be like, hey,
I
these
don't
guys
know.
are fucking getting by your shit.
It's
Like,
not
how
only
does that?
it's not only just that. It's like
God.
if you do that to to modify your system, and then all of a sudden your regular games don't work. What was to stop somebody from saying, like, contacting Nintendo and saying, hey, my Nintendo's not working anymore, and then they'll do something to like replace it, or else they'll realize, like, wait,
Well,
why is this soldered here? Like, why did you do this? Like,
It did say you could void your warranty.
I was just
Yeah.
about to say, were warranties really a thing back then? It's not like Nintendo's were red ringing back in the
No,
day.
of
You know what
course,
I
yeah.
mean? Like, I feel like that. Yeah, that's so bizarre.
So
though.
I just
I
wonder
never
if-
knew any of that.
yeah.
Yeah, it was so interesting. I was just going through the manual, and I'm like, yeah. And then I recalled it on the Wally Bear manual.
I wonder how much some of those Aladdin deck enhancer games go for.
I don't think that they're.
I don't think it's
I
too
mean-
much because you still find complete in box Aladdin deck enhancers and the
sets,
games
and the set,
the whole set.
yeah.
So they're sitting somewhere. I paid I think 100 for mine, so maybe on eBay they're
Like I said,
40
120
for the
maybe.
game, but it looks like this one's also connected to the Aladdin.
Yeah,
So,
like I said, I mean, I used to back in the day, like 2004, 2005. I used to see them on eBay all the time, and it was always
They're
they were,
still on now.
They were brand new, shrink wrapped, and they were like $40, $50 for the whole lot.
I wonder now how much.
Because I've never like I feel like I don't even remember hearing about the Aladdin deck enhancer as a kid.
I think in magazines I've seen it.
Oh, okay.
I think it was
Definitely not Nintendo Power.
No, God, no. I've seen it. I've seen the ads in comic books as well too, like from that time.
Right now, there's one on eBay. They've sold 109 of these. $12 to ship. This is Aladdin deck enhancer, brand new, all 7 games, 175. So they are jumping the price up.
They're starting to up it, yeah.
All 7 games.
And I think it was like 100. And I think I did it during the pandemic, probably 2021.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, either
not a
way,
bad price, though.
they're pulling those from some kind of warehouse. That's
From somewhere, they're
if it
just sitting somewhere.
Yeah, because if it says that 108 sold, like no, they've got them somewhere.
And
They all came from that same storage place.
I was
man.
just about to bring that up because I wanted Chris's input on this. So you heard recently about that one like collection that got, I'm gonna say quote unquote unearthed from a storage facility of like hundreds of sealed SNES games.
Texas,
No.
right? It was in Texas.
I say
I thought it was a mountain state.
It was
Montana?
I didn't hear
Give me a
about that.
second.
You didn't hear about that?
No, what
It was
happened?
like sealed Chrono Triggers, TMNT, like all these sealed.
Oh, Nebraska. It was in Nebraska.
There we go. These sealed Super Nintendo games.
No.
I say I was scrolling through Hangouts to find out.
Yeah, they just happen to be in this storage facility that this was it. This
was
couple
auctioned
bought
off?
or whatever. Well, they didn't.
Well, this local store is claiming they were unearthed in this self-storage place, but like it seems
we
fishy.
find it fishy.
So the article,
Here's the article.
So the article says hordes of SNES, Sega CD, Genesis, Saturn, and 3DO games were put into storage after a local store closed down in 1994 and have remained untouched until now. And they were found in that storage facility, unearthed. And so they're saying that some of the almost all of the games were sealed, still, but they're some of the titles that were found there were for the SNES, TMNT 4, Turtles in Time, Final Fantasy 3, Sunset Riders,
Man.
Aladdin,
Seems fishy, doesn't it?
Chrono Trigger.
They wouldn't reveal everything because they didn't
No.
want to influence stuff.
How do you forget that you have these games in that facility for 30, almost 30 years?
My first question is the people that opened the storage facility, were they the ones that owned it, or was this auctioned off?
But even if it was auctioned off, unless if they recently stopped paying for a storage facility, like that would have been like your grandparents owning it and then just paying for it without realizing they were paying for it and it getting auctioned off. If I knew my grandparents or my parents had a storage facility somewhere and didn't know what the hell was in it, my first thing would be, give me the damn key. I'm going to go investigate what's in this thing.
Yeah, because that probably would have been put in there late 90s, maybe early 2000s.
They said 1994.
Yeah, the store
almost
closed
30 years.
So I'm sorry, but if it's just being
How would
unearthed
you
now,
forget about it?
How would you forget if you had to pay for that locker for 30 years?
Not to mention, if you owned a store, that's a lot of product that you spent money on that is sitting there. You
that
just
you
lost.
still want to try to get money
And
for.
with this recent retro boom, you can't tell me you have no idea that gaming has turned into this phenomenon, one of the biggest industries in the world. You would not. Oh fuck!
I
That
think it
storage
is-
facility where I have all these sealed games are a fucking.
And
myth
now
right
I remember.
To be honest, I think it is the biggest because with Microsoft buying.
No, porn.
No, I think
Still
it's
a
bigger
pretty big
because
fucking industry, dude.
Microsoft just spent what 18 billion or whatever to buy.
That's Microsoft.
So-
I mean,
Yeah.
Microsoft's more than just games. Though.
This was the line that made me hesitate about the legitimacy of this reveal. Is so Game Room said they won't be releasing any details on the overall value of the collection until it's all preserved and documented. So
Our first question.
What are they
Heritage.
Where's Heritage
What are they
Auctions?
He's with
preserving
us.
it with WADA and then selling it on
Oh, Look at the last line.
It's
If
worth
they get
noting
it
that
graded.
if they get the games officially graded, the value for most of them could double, triple, or quadruple in price.
And that's why I said
guarantee you.
when I shared the story with them, I said it was fishy.
Yeah.
And they were
So-
both just like, yeah, this seems kind
Oh
of
yeah, no. This seems like another publicity stunt through WADA or
So-
Heritage.
to save face after
So
Carl Jobst.
who from WADA or who from Heritage knows someone with the locker and put all these sealed games in there?
Exactly. Exactly.
Seems convenient.
Well, and
What's
here's-
his name? Leroy Jenkins? Who's the guy who owns WADA?
Well,
I
and
can't remember what his name
Here's-
is.
Let's do this.
Dennis with one end.
Dennis.
Yeah.
here's my other question is, because they've not revealed what type of storage facility this was,
Nope.
it's Nebraska. They're not going to have high, especially back in '94.
They're not climate controlled.
Climate controlled indoor storages were not a thing back then.
That's
No, it
True.
wasn't in 1994.
They
yeah.
were like the U-Haul.
That's-
It's a row of garages.
I never
You're
even thought about
probably
that
right.
until you said that. Yeah, if those things were in there since
Tupperware
1994,
containers.
and Tupperware containers.
Tupperware containers weren't big in '94.
Well,
but they Rubbermaid was
No,
I mean,
but
there
they were still Rubbermaid
containers.
stuff.
They
Yes, there
existed,
was still
but you know how
Rubbermaid.
expensive it would have been?
but
There's also not those. There were not those clear plastic covers that you put on a lot of these games back
no,
then.
but you're talking those games were baking in the Nebraska Midwest heat
And winters.
and winters.
Yeah.
Not
So
to mention
those games-
bugs, rodents that...
Oh, those games
stor-
are those games
stor-
are ruined. Even if they're sealed, those games, if they were in a garage for like 30 years, no, those games are ruined. They're
That's
not going to
true.
work.
Like,
Yeah.
those storage facilities are not sealed. The weather can still get in there,
But
especially
yes,
if it's from a
You're
1994.
right. The
I
whole
never
like
thought of that. No,
climate
you're
controlled
right. It's
environment
probably-
that started
you're
in the
probably
last
right.
like 10 years,
I
where
thought-
now it's been a big thing
I
to
thought one of
be
the
climate
articles said it
controlled.
was an indoor storage thing. Maybe not. Maybe I read it wrong.
I mean, they're technically indoors in that they're under a roof. I mean,
I guess that's
I could-
true.
I could see.
like, I've not seen anything about the actual facility. So unless it's in another article that I haven't seen,
Yeah.
like, I'm sorry, those types, like I said, especially in Nebraska, it's fucking Nebraska.
Yeah, it's. We thought the story was kind of fishy because it's like those games, especially the ones they mentioned, like
Chrono Trigger.
Chrono Trigger's a
stuff like
big
that.
fucking game. That's
Yeah.
a top tier title for the SNES.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, it's not something that you would just forget about. You know what I mean? Like, if my parents owned a store, I would have remembered
Well, okay.
that they had that. It
We
just
can
doesn't
even
make
we can
sense.
even go we can even go for your parents did own a store.
Yes, they did.
How much of the product after they stopped having the store did they leave sitting in the basement?
None. We cleaned the store out.
Exactly. Or how much did they bring home and just keep sitting on to this day?
Nude beer.
There's like
That was the thing. It was
Nude beer.
Yeah,
It's
there
called
was-
nude beer. It's beer
yeah.
with topless girls on it. My brother has some in his basement right now.
yeah.
My grandma
Like, okay.
and grandpa had it. You had to scratch it off, or
Oh,
with the.
that's so cool.
I think
There
one
were
was
like,
scratch
with the
off
exception
for
of a few
heat.
like
Yeah.
individual collector things like that, they're not going to sit on hundreds, if not thousands, of
No.
dollars worth of product.
No.
No.
Especially if it was a store that closed, you're going to try to recoup some of your money.
Yeah.
Let's think. This was 1994. This store goes out of business, or whatever the circumstance.
For fuck's sake, they probably could have went to a Blockbuster and said, "Hey, we'll sell you all these to rent out."
Unload your material at
I could-
Funkoland.
I could see if maybe they shut the store down. Not all this sold. All right, we're gonna put it in storage and do it a little, like a year later, maybe. But I would think they would go until they're down to maybe a couple hundred and like, I don't know, newspaper rummage something at 1994.
Yeah.
This quote here explains it all. This is totally WADA is behind it. So when they talk about the games and the fact that they're factory sealed, they said a single game could be a $50 street value. With a
Street
box,
value.
with a box, it could be $200 street value. Factory sealed in poor condition could be $1,000 value, and then a mint perfect, the best known specimen, could be $100,000. It's like the only $100,000 sealed games were the ones
Stadium events?
were the ones that WADA put out.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, that's... Yep.
I can't even tell you. I mean, there are sealed copies of games like Kuon that people are trying to get like $2,000 for.
Ridiculous.
And
Wait.
now they're saying a poor condition factory seal could be $1,000 value. It's like, what? What poor? What are you talking about? $1,000 for poor?
I pissed on my sealed copy of this. $5,000!
So is my sealed copy of The Bachelor on DS 100,000?
I mean, if it's in mint condition, it could be. It could be.
Or
Gem
You
Mint?
get that thing graded.
Only street value.
You get that thing graded.
oh my goodness.
You could have a game that's at least $5,000. Yep.
To Heritage we go.
Oh my goodness.
But everything about that story just makes alarms go off for me. Like, how did you not hear? I sent it to them.
I didn't hear about
I'm surprised.
that.
I'm surprised.
Well,
that you,
see,
yeah,
I
you didn't hear
have no
about that.
life, so I read articles.
No, but
and stuff. I
you-
shared it with them. They
yeah.
didn't know, so I'm
No,
surprised
and
you
I
didn't
knew,
hear
I
about
knew,
that.
I had seen it.
Yeah,
I never did. I didn't deep dive into it until you shared it.
I didn't know about it because Kevin doesn't like me and he didn't send me the article.
Dude, I do everything in Hangouts, so my brain just defaults to if I don't
Is
talk
that
to people.
still a thing?
Well,
Yes.
it's
I thought they got rid of it.
no, it changed over to what is it now?
I can't remember. I think it's Google. No, it's Google Hangouts still, isn't it?
I
No.
thought they got rid of it.
No, they got rid of Google Plus.
Oh, that's what it was. Because that one guy in, who was that? Ryan Ballard on Two Dudes
Oh,
in
yeah.
NES would only reply.
So basically I just share shit in the thing with the two of them. So it's my brain is, or I post it on Facebook, and that's about all I
didn't
do.
see that. And normally I would come across something like that.
Yeah.
Thompson estimates it is going to take about a year to tell the full story of this exclusive collection and find the true value of the game. So yeah, I can guarantee you they're getting them graded, probably through WADA.
I really, to be honest, that's one of those articles and one of those
man.
stories. I really want to reach out to
Yeah.
someone like to Jobst, Jobs, or whatever, and be like,
Carl
"What's your
Jobs, yeah.
2 cents on this?" and see if he's done anything.
Oh, I
with
think
it.
he's gonna
Because-
dig into it, especially if these
With
games.
as much as he's already digging into these
If
companies.
these games get graded by WADA, I guarantee you he is going to look into it and see. He's going to deep dive into it to try to get to the bottom of it,
Okay.
and what these guys' connections are to WADA. Because if they are getting these games graded, and then all of a sudden now they're going to go on to an auction, because they're trying to generate all of the publicity and all that stuff for a year, where they're going to slowly feed new updates and stuff. I guarantee you that's what they're
My
doing.
big thing is I want images of the facility.
Yeah.
I
want to find out. I want to find out what place they found these at. What
flat out. Okay,
storage.
not only do I want
What
images
was
of the
storage
facility. 2, I want to know what the name of the company, the supposed store that these used to belong to.
Yeah.
Right? Because like we had said, mom and pop game stores were not necessarily a thing back in '94.
I only remember one.
And
No.
I'm
So
telling you
unless
right
if it was
now,
like a
if they
small
had-
franchise of
and if they had like a Funko Land or something at the time, because and that's the thing.
Well,
too,
why
is
would you have sealed? If
Mom and Pop,
Funko
Mom
Land,
and
they
Pop
wouldn't have sealed
no,
games.
Yeah, Mom and Pop
It'd
stores
mostly
wouldn't have
be
sealed
loose,
games.
maybe
The
a
only-
manual.
The only people that had sealed games were the big distributors, the stores, like Targets
KB,
or KB
Toys R
or
Us.
Toys R Us.
But then when that stock shift to another store?
Depends, because I don't know if it was a thing back then, but you could do individual licensed
You could.
stores,
Right,
sort of
you
like
could franchise
McDonald's.
a store.
So like I said, so like McDonald's and stuff, they do them. You can either be corporate or local, or
can't
so I don't know
imagine.
if any of
Back then,
these
yeah.
retailers had anything like that.
I can't
Yeah.
imagine a KB or anything like that would be a franchise
I can't
type store.
can't
But
imagine.
there's also the
No.
possibility of a small region, local chain only.
I suppose that's
But-
possible, but
but
back in
like-
'94,
That's why it would have to be small and local to like Nebraska and something else.
But you have to
But still,
understand,
it's
though,
still fishy.
the smaller that it is, the more they're not going to put those games into storage.
Yeah,
They're going
I know,
to try to
I know.
recoup their money.
I know.
on it.
Yes,
it just
yes.
it seems odd. Like
Yeah.
all the pieces don't quite
No,
fit.
no, there's definitely it's the puzzle pieces are not lining up, and it's causing more questions than it's answering at this point. But that's honestly, I think that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get people to talk about it, to try to discover what this is, and then they're slowly going to feed oh yeah, here's some more facts from this case, and oh, we got the first assortment of games graded from WADA, and this is what they had to say.
And it's going to be a slow trickle.
And I
Chrono
guarantee-
Trigger
and I-
seal $40,000.
Chrono Trigger has never been found in this high a grade before. There's no ceiling on this game because it's the best known RPG that was ever made in the West.
It's at my house.
Chrono Trigger graded $19,000.
Actually, well, they're not talking about that. They're talking 20,000 or not 20,000. They're talking 100,000.
$100,000 over 9,000.
But no, I guarantee.
$1 million.
I don't know.
This lot is worth on $100 billion.
But that's where like price charting fucks the climate.
Everything.
Yeah.
Yes,
Everything.
it fucks everything.
It was. I don't know.
I miss the days when it was a
A tool for the collectors, not so much for the sellers.
it was a novelty that not everybody knew of it, and so it was nice to really just, because if you were collecting, it was nice knowing that, okay, I'm not paying more than I should, or oh, this game goes for $50, like, okay, so I know like what my benchmark is. But now it's like everybody and their mother seems to think like, oh yeah, I've got this game, price starting says 20, I'm gonna charge 25 for it.
The other issue I just kind of popped in my head is price charting has unfortunately become the de facto place to go.
Yeah.
There's not very many places like competing that help track the stuff to keep things accurate.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is kind of, it falls into the same thing that like WATA and Heritage fall into. They basically have a monopoly on this because no one else is attempting to compete in the market.
No, that's actually not true. Is Video Game Authority, the VGA, they were the first ones to start grading video games.
Well,
and they started like literally, I want to say it was like 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah, but like it's not to the same level that like WATA and them are able to get up
but that's
to.
because WATA is doing what they can in order to get the publicity.
But so like
and
price charting not having a rival in the thing.
No, exactly.
How
even if they did, I mean,
Well, there is another one that I use. I have my collection on, and I can't remember what it is. It's like Collector's Corner or something, and they do pricing on it. And the two are off of each other.
like, but how big is the disparity?
I don't know
between-
how big the discrepancy
Do you know what
is.
I've actually started going back to what I used to do is I'm not even looking at price charting
You gotta
anymore for
look at
certain
eBay.
games. I look at eBay sale listings
yeah.
to get an idea of what a game is worth or what something is worth. I'm starting to rely less on price charting.
and that's
these
kind
days.
of where I feel like that's why it was so much easier to get a better deal back then, and to find those super good deals is because like somebody is not going to spend the time to rifle through 15 ended auctions to be like, and then average out the price when they have this right here. You know what I mean? Like, it almost took more assiduity to figure out what each title was.
And to be honest, back then, like prior to like price charting becoming big, individual sellers were also more likely to haggle for sales rather than this is I see it as a firm number here. Therefore, this is what it's worth.
Because I mean, if like let's say you were to look at, for an example, like Rule of Rose right now, I want it for $450, and some are going for $600, some are going for $500. Like, you would average that out, it would more than likely end up falling in the mid to low $500s.
Yeah.
Whereas now you look at price charting, it's $650. It's like,
This is part of the reason I don't like collecting.
Yeah,
Because like there is
now
no
with the internet.
Yep.
like I don't know how to say it. Like there's no way to make it all cohesive and make everything match because it becomes such a subjective thing of what the value is.
right.
So
And it's hard to compete with something that's so established. It was like when because what came first? Was it Yahoo or Google?
Yahoo. Yahoo was much bigger than Google was.
And yet Yahoo got its ass handed to it. And basically Google is the universal search engine for fucking everything. How many other search engines have there been over the years? You had Bing, you had fucking...
you had
Ask Jeeves.
Ask Jeeves, just basically Yahoo search something.
Back in the day, before Google, Lycos was my favorite.
Yeah, like, I mean, and
Lycos.com.
they're all dead. Like, you could not go up against Google. You just can't.
Yeah.
Like, there's... So it's like, and if you try to do that with price charting, it's like, how do you do it? Like, it's already so established, and it's got such a footing, you really can't dethrone it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's, I kind of see where, like, you have to kind of take it as gospel because there is nothing else to really put a value on, especially now that gaming has become such a fucking phenomenon.
Well,
and
not just gaming, but collecting.
Yes.
In general.
Yes.
and then like you have the way that like especially if there's any like self-reported information into price charting of like sales through places like Midwest Gaming Classic that completely fuck with the numbers.
Oh yeah.
Because you're paying you're paying the convenience fee for being able to get it then and there, but then there's like the markup for like the
classic price we call it.
Yeah, like whatever you want to call it.
Well, because
Convention.
Thank you.
yeah, because they're
English
paying,
was failing me.
they're paying for the booth, and so they basically charge a little bit more per game because they're trying to make up for the value that they had to set up the booth.
So like there's stuff like that screws with numbers and stuff too. So it's just like it's hard to trust anything as a firm line within the numbers.
Yeah. Because even that's why Paul's method is kind of more of what collectors should go for is look at where auctions end. Because when I won Kuan for 610, I an auction right following somebody got Kuan for 545. I said, "Fuck! I should have bid on that one.
Yeah.
Why did I win it for 610?" But
but that's another thing too is that price charting. I don't even know when their updates happen, but their stuff doesn't happen instantaneously.
No.
So even though something like it says that it's on price charting for we'll say $500, that's not to say like okay, well in a week's time it's going to be updated to where it should be, and you paid $515 for it because it was the slight markup over what price charting was, but then all of a sudden it's like nope, it's $400.
Yeah.
Because it's just price charting caught up to it. It's like, why am I paying this much for it when that wasn't where it was trending before? It's just that's where price charting had it.
Yeah.
So there's so many flaws in the system right now.
Well, and then there's the cynical type person in me that's I play something up on eBay, I use another fake account of my own to buy it at a higher price to inflate the price.
Oh,
there are individuals that do that within collecting.
That's shill bidding.
Yeah,
is what it is. Yeah,
and like that happens, and it's. I guarantee you, some of the prices for these games,
depending on how much much you make on shill bidding, that is definitely fraud, and it could be a very hefty
well. And the
crime.
thing,
I suppose that only works if you technically lose to somebody who does outbid you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you're really not losing anything. Well, don't you pay a fee anyway?
There's no entry insertion fee anymore.
No, because I thought if you were a seller,
First 100.
There's the final
value fee now.
right? But let's say I do that. Let's say I make two accounts, right? I'm selling on one, and I want something to go for higher, but nobody's going higher, so I win it. Wouldn't I still have to pay a fee?
Yes, you would.
So technically, you're losing money because you're buying it to yourself.
Even if you canceled it, there's still the final fee.
Yeah. So honestly, that shill bidding thing, it's kind of pointless because you're losing money.
Well,
you just need to rely on the fact that somebody's going to outbid you.
Yeah.
You have to wait until someone bids and then try to...
Right.
But hope you don't cap their max bid.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like you almost need to, like... For it to work, you have to lose.
We do not
you know
condone this.
No, not at all. This
and
is
that's-
horrible. This
and
is
that's,
shitty practice.
that's why I said it's the cynic in me that looks at stuff
Yeah.
like this and says, it has to happen. We know it happens.
Yeah.
It's just how much is that influencing the price for some games that don't deserve to be as high of a price as they are.
Yep,
And
exactly.
the other thing that sucks with this, it's never happened to me, but this whole price charting thing and all this, but I've heard about this happening to other people, is in physical video game stores. They have the price on there, a guy goes up there to buy it. Oh wait, let me check. Nope, now it's this. It's $50 more.
That's actually, in some states, it's actually illegal.
Has
And
that
I'm like-
actually, that's actually happened?
I've seen
never heard of
posts
that.
on Facebook.
Oh
It-
my
that's
god!
actually-
I'm like,
That's
that
actually
has got to
illegal in
be
some states.
illegal to
That's-
do
yeah,
that.
that's-
I'm like, that is not right.
If you go into a store and it's marked as one price, like if it's physically marked by the store as one price and then they adjust it at the register,
Yeah.
they can actually get in trouble for that.
And I'm like, that is a bunch of bullcrap because they name the store, so do not go to this store. They do not honor their prices. Blah blah blah.
Oh,
And
wow.
I've had this happen to me. This is another thing with price charting. You have 3DO, you have CDI, you have TurboGrafx 16, you have TurboGrafx CD. All of them came in boxes, and they came in cases for the Hue card, the CD, the 3DO. Not all games, but CDI did that on some of their games. They came in boxes and had a case. So you look at price charting. Take TurboGrafx 16 for example. It says it's complete in box. I guarantee you, it's not complete in box. It's complete in case.
Oh, yeah.
I suppose that would be certain games like Earthbound that were never actually
Sealed. My
Yeah.
Earthbound was never sealed when I bought it from Shopco back in the day.
And technically complete would be with the guide, wouldn't it?
It was like my Pokemon Heart Gold.
Right. There
Yeah.
never was an actual... Well,
There
I
was
thought
no
it had like that sticker.
So
That,
from
like,
my
went over the
understanding,
thing.
it did not come with it. They used to come with those stickers, and then I guess collectors
So-
complained to Nintendo and said, we don't want that. It messes up.
It was probably a cost-saving
something.
measure, too.
Oh, I bet.
It's one less thing that they have to manufacture and stick onto the thing, so any way they can cut
Yeah.
corners and save money.
But yeah,
Yeah.
like a game like Earthbound, how would you technically define a complete in
It
box
never
if it
came
didn't come
with
with
the
the
circle
guide
seal.
or a box itself?
If I remember right, it was in a case, and they had to give it to you.
Well, it's like what is it? Lethal Enforcer? The gun came in like the
Oh,
big box
came
with
in
the
a giant
CD.
I have
Mhm.
for the
with
Sega
with the CD
I
and a
have-
separate
I
thing.
have-
It
Yeah.
came with the gun and the CD.
Yeah, and
it-
they were in like there was
Yeah, it
the
was a
one
big
big
box.
box.
Yeah, I have it. It's,
And mine wasn't sealed. Yours
Mine
wasn't
is sealed.
For
There's a
Lethal-
shrink wrap. There's shrink wrap over it.
oh, maybe mine was for Lethal Enforcers then.
Because like
Because I got mine at retail.
Oh,
I feel like did the Genesis version have a...
Edit
yeah,
that
maybe
out.
it did.
well, and see here, my question is then like complete in
Don't make
box.
me
Is
look
it like the
stupid.
game with just the manual and stuff, or does the big box everything shipped in count
Is
as
that
complete in
considered
box?
complete in box? Because I don't recall
think
ever being
Paul's
able
right.
to buy Lethal Enforcers without the... Right, yeah.
Okay,
But if you
Paul
open
is-
that
but
up...
it's got the cellophane.
Paul is right. Then it did come with the cellophane. I opened mine.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
So like is that complete in box, or is the
That's
game
complete in
The
box.
game inside complete in box.
with gun is that complete
See,
in box?
Now,
It
if you open that
depends.
up, does that have a case for the specific game?
I thought,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, because
So what's-
I bought that one
Yes.
at retail.
But that would also be considered complete in box. Would
So,
be the game
well-
in its case.
I count that as complete in box. I know Lethal Enforcers 2 came separate.
That was a shit game, by the way.
I never played it.
It's not great.
I haven't played that one. I kind of want
I
to play
thought
it now.
I thought Lethal Enforcers eventually came not as a bundle. I could be wrong.
That's what I was wondering, because I remember as a kid getting it for the Sega Genesis, and it came with the gun. Obviously, it came with the Justifier.
Yeah.
And I remember my dad got grilled by that clerk saying, "Now this game's rated mature. Are you sure you want this for your boys?"
I'm gonna justify it.
Yeah, and my dad was like, "Motherfucker, I'm paying for it. I'll give my kids whatever the hell I want." Because you two know my dad. But,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
but like that's what I'm wondering. I didn't know if you could buy Lethal Enforcers
I
without the
don't-
gun, but
I'm not
maybe you could.
100% certain.
I don't know, but like, and that like again that brings it up is like, which version is considered complete in box when you're selling it then?
Right. Because technically,
that's gonna
Paul could
skew-
open that
Well,
one up with the gun.
Yeah.
And if the game comes in the case,
According to price charting, it did come.
They
not
did
bundled.
have they did have versions.
it
of
would
both.
come out of bundle.
Yeah, there was both bundled and unbundled.
Assuming price charting's right.
Because to be honest, like, I don't think the Justifier worked with any other game. It only worked with Lethal Enforcers. I don't remember very many
Mad
gun
Dogs.
games.
I thought it worked with Mad Dog McCree.
I didn't think that was on Genesis.
1 and 2. Oh, Genesis.
Yeah,
I'm talking
no,
about
Sega CD.
Right. Because,
Well, I don't know, because they came out with the Menacer for the Genesis.
but that was a whole separate peripheral.
So I don't know if any of those games worked with, if the Justifier worked with any of those games.
Because you could, oh god, could
So-
you use controller for Lethal Enforcers? think
You
can,
could on the
actually.
Sega CD, I thought.
See, this is one thing that I mean.
But the picture,
The picture is the
picture
picture
is
the
the
exact
bundle
same.
picture,
It's the
so I
bundle
don't
picture.
know.
Yes, you could
So
use
then-
the controller for Lethal Enforcer. So you know what? I bet you could buy it without the justifier. Okay.
It just wasn't as fun without the justifier.
Oh god, no! It was like playing Virtua Cop without the gun.
Yeah, or Time Crisis.
I
Yeah.
played some PS2 ones like that. It was terrible.
Yeah.
Actually, Resident Evil Survivor was like that. That one did not actually have the gun con compatibility. They turned it off. It was supposed to,
Right.
and it was because of Columbine.
Columbine. Yeah.
They actually said, nope, we're going to turn off the gun con, and so that's why that game it got the reputation it did, is because it was you could only use a controller for it, and it's just, rail shooters like that should not be controller
what
only.
was Resident Evil Dead Aim?
PS.
PS2.
That was
Two.
PS2.
Yeah, that was PS2.
that kind of the same thing?
I think that one was actually, yes, but that one was actually, it was
GunCon?
It was GunCon.
Okay.
GunCon 2.
Yeah. God, I remember that one. The one you were talking about before, Resident Evil
Survivor.
Survivor.
Yeah.
Because I always get that one confused with the Resident Evil Outbreak ones, where it's like you're not a specific person, you're like just with the group setting. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
they're so bizarre. Some of those offshoots were very strange.
Yeah.
It was, yeah, and Survivor was actually an offshoot of Resident Evil 2. Because,
Yes.
Because your character is friends with Leon Scott Kennedy.
God, I remember even the cover of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's price charting. It's just it's a very strange thing. Like you said, it's the greatest and worst thing to happen at the same time
Yeah.
for the
For
collector.
collecting.
Yeah.
For collecting.
Like I was saying earlier, I had bought something from DK Oldies. It was a TurboGrafx game, and it said complete in box. So I looked it up, compared it to price charting, and was like right on top of price chart. And I go, I'm gonna get this game. It's not gonna have a box. It's gonna be complete in case. I get it. Didn't have box. So I was kind of prepared. I figured it was going to do that. So I wrote him. I said, this says complete in box. This is not complete in box. TurboGrafx 16 games came with a box.
Yeah.
And they just responded, said, yeah, in our system, it shows it being that as being complete in box.
Oh, okay, well, your system's wrong.
Or,
Just-
and I wasn't going to argue with them, but
I would've.
I'm like, a video game store should know
Right.
TurboGrafx 16 games, how they came packaged at retail.
Yeah.
They said you're welcome to return it,
Well,
which I didn't. I just kept it.
Well,
but-
DK Oldies has gotten it wrong before. When you were looking for the
Yes.
breakthrough with on the Game Boy, the original gray cart for that game. It was breakthrough, right?
It
Yeah.
was breakout.
Or breakout.
Yeah, breakthrough. I was about to say. I don't think that. Was
That's
I was
Nintendo.
looking for the gray cart version, the original Nintendo or the original Game Boy version of that game. You told me that they had it, and they said, and you asked
the
them
picture.
to specify they had the gray cart, and you bought it. They sent it to you, and of course it was the damn black cart, which is the Game Boy Color cart.
They actually called me before they shipped it.
Oh, did they really?
They actually called me
Oh, that's
before
right,
they
because
shipped it.
you canceled the order
And
beforehand.
they
Yes.
said it's the Game Boy Color, and I said no, I need the Game Boy, so they canceled it. So at least on that end,
They did correct it.
they did
Yeah.
correct it before
But-
shipping it. They just didn't ship it out.
But they
and go,
still,
"We're
but
gonna
they
ship
still advertised it and had it on the website as Game Boy.
Yes.
The original Game Boy, and specified with the picture that it was the
Yeah.
that it was.
But
that
at
one.
least they called before they shipped it. But
Yeah.
what you're thinking of is, I needed the Super Spike V-Ball and Nintendo World Cup manual.
Yeah.
And they shipped it out to me, and it just ended up being the Super Spike V-Ball manual,
Yeah.
which I had already had. So I sent them a message, and yeah, you sent the wrong manual. No, we sent the right one. So I had to take pictures. I think they were getting confused because Super Spike V-Ball also came in that dual cartridge with Nintendo World Cup.
It did.
So when I sent them the pictures, then it clicked. Oh, yeah, we don't have it in. We would send you the right one, but we don't have it in system. And I wanted to write them back. Yeah, it's showing it's out of stock because you sent me the wrong manual. It's sitting there somewhere. I said, just forget it. And they refunded my money. And then I kept it. And Paul didn't have the manual, so I just gave it to him.
That's like...
Oh, yeah.
That's where, like, when they release different versions of things, makes it hard for collectors.
No, it's still...
Because, like, you have Zelda or Metroid, where you have... You know, the
gold,
classic Metroid,
and then you have
gold
classic,
and then you
the NES Classic Edition,
Yes, or Legend of Zelda, where you have the gold and gray, and you go to or you say online, I want to buy Metroid or Legend of Zelda, and they're showing a picture of the gold cart, but they send you a gray cart, and you're like,
not the same thing.
That's not what I want.
Not the same thing. Yeah.
So it's like it's.
Or I hate when they use fucking stock photos. No, take a picture of the item. If I see a stock photo, I go to the next.
I immediately will not.
Next.
Likewise.
This day and age, you don't need a digital camera. Most people have a cell phone, smartphone.
Well, to be honest, most phone cameras are better than digital cameras unless you go high end anyways.
Yeah. So I'm like, stock photo, you're not getting my money.
Yeah,
right?
I bypass it right up.
Yeah, it's... I don't know. It's a very strange collecting world, and that's why I applaud you for what you're doing and what Paul has done.
Paul's the guy, man. 2 away from Game Boy now.
That's true.
Unless he got him, didn't tell me.
No.
They're going to be real easy.
Yeah.
2 soccer
but
games.
Either way, I am glad I am at the point that I am in my collecting, but at this point, I am joining Andy in that I will never, ever again try to complete a set of anything.
I don't want to hear that.
I am only going after the games that I want, and it is a relatively short list, but I think, honestly, there is going to be a finite point where I'm at, and I'm like, yep, I'm happy, and I'm just going to just play games that I have.
Yeah.
Because I don't
he
want
says that and he's still going to go back to DuckTales.
No, well, yeah,
Super Nintendo.
True, but I am at the point where I am sick of fighting this battle.
Yeah.
And it only seems to get worse and worse, and especially with the prices of games now are just so astronomical that it's just I don't want to deal with the headaches of it anymore. I just it's not the same world that it used to be, and it very much disappoints me.
Yeah.
So, on that note, will you be buying Sonic? You reposted the Sonic thing. What is it? 600? 900? How much is it?
$599.99.
Jump on it right now.
No,
right on the podcast. Here he goes. Sonic, the elusive Master System Sonic.
It's not a buy it now.
The American version.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's actually, yeah. The buy it now is, what, $1,200?
Well,
bid on it right now. Do it.
I'm married.
Do it. And you're going to stay married. Do it. Do it. Give in to the hate.
So, I've been watching it for a month. It started out at, I think, a starting bid of
$800.
It was $899. 900 with the buy it now of 1,300.
And has anybody bid on it?
Nope.
And no one has bid on it.
Do it.
He dropped it down to
700.
700.
And nobody bid?
And no one bid.
And now
and
it's
he
at?
finally bid it down. He
600.
put it down to 600 starting bid with a buy it now of $1,000.
Make him an offer. $550.
See,
now. I'll buy it $550.
I want it for $500.
Try it. You know what? Give him a shot right now. On the podcast, Powercast.
If I could do
$500
installment payments, like
you know what?
so much money
I'll
every
kick in $100. I'll kick in $100 right here, ladies and gentlemen. I'll kick you $100.
So for those of you who don't know what's going on, is that Sega Master System has an oddity. Oddity with
That fucking
with
sticker.
4 games that were so the games were the exact same between the PAL and the United States versions or the NTSC versions. The only way to differentiate an NTSC game from its PAL counterpart is a UPC sticker on the back of the case that was adhered to it so that it could be sold in the United States.
That's right.
And for some reason, because of this stupid UPC sticker, the games can make the difference of a game that is maybe $50 to $100 is a $500 game on the NTSC version.
And so we
it's
talked
so
about,
stupid.
We talked about it last time because we
So
talked about
stupid.
stopping someone from counterfeiting stickers.
What? Yeah, what's to stop them from just making up a
We
sticker?
got so sidetracked last time about this.
Yeah.
There is one that popped up on Mercari loose for $40.
Yeah, okay.
Oh,
And-
Sonic.
But that's the thing, is that now there's no way to prove that that's the NTSC version,
Well,
even though somebody
no,
will say,
this
oh yeah,
is-
it's the NTSC version.
The loose version is the PAL version. That's what we got here
Literally,
in North
yep,
America.
right.
It
So,
just could be played on the American systems.
I've been debating just getting the loose copy, but
That would drive you nuts, though. wouldn't it?
because all of my Sega Master System games right now, except for 2, are complete in box.
Yeah.
And I have 6 left.
I mean, I'll be honest. I'll give you the 100, and this will be your Christmas gift. Paul, I'm sure, will back me up on this. He'll donate some too, I'm sure, as part of a Christmas gift.
I'll match him.
There you go. Right now, message that motherfucker. I'll give you $500 for it.
You guys-
Cash. Show him the word cash.
Cash.
500 cash.
500 cash.
Street value cash.
Street value
value.
cash. You'll get $200 and $300 in
Yes,
KB
streets.
stocks.
Street value.
All right. I could. You guys suck.
Right now.
They're enablers.
All right. If
My offer expires in 10 minutes.
10 minutes before the end of this episode. We should have opened with this. We will.
you guys,
Oh man.
It's how much? 500?
I gotta
I'll make
go
it
to the
150.
bathroom, man.
I'll make it
his
150.
brain is running a mile
I'll make
a
it
minute.
150. That cuts the price in half. Because if you're gonna message this guy 500, that brings it down to 250.
No.
I've already
Oh,
spent
boy.
a shit ton of money. What's more? I have no kids. I have no wife.
I'm pretty sure he's gonna have an aneurysm.
We might witness a death on the PTG Powercast.
I really gotta poop.
We'll extend the offer past your poop.
No.
You weren't
was I
expecting me to
gonna
put
say?
you on the spot like this, were you?
Nope.
If
This is the Andy Z
I'll
factor.
tell
I
you
do
right
this
now.
to Paul all the time.
I wasn't married, I'd jump on it.
That's what she's saying.
Well, seeing I am married,
But that's
that
not
is-
a lot. 250 is not a lot of money in today's
If-
world.
Not for a game like that.
He's trying to think of ways he can justify
I
it
know, right?
without
all
his
right,
wife jumping on him.
I'm trying to get around of spending all that money at once.
I mean, it is a
If-
credit card. You could technically pay it off in installments, right? PayPal it.
If anyone up here could front the full amount of money and I could pay them back
All right, let's not get crazy. I
in
just spent-
monthly
I
installments
just spent
that I could do it.
$450 on fucking Rule of Rose, guy.
because
All right.
because that amount of money is probably going to get seen taken out of an account.
But then you can explain to her, listen, honey.
So I can't do that.
Listen, honey, I'm also knocking this in half. Here's the money right here. I'll give you the cash. I don't care.
I wish it was local and it was all dealt in cash.
Oh.
Then I could do it
Absolutely.
for sure.
PTG Sneaky Cast.
No, I can't because I know somehow
Oh.
it's gonna get seen. I so want to.
Well, how about this? We'll do an update thing next time you're on if you bite it or not, because I won't. This
No.
offer will extend past.
Yeah,
it.
the offer stands.
Don't be
I gotta-
ridiculous.
You guys,
Think about it while you're taking that big steamy poopy.
I do.
But
In all reality, if it went down to 500,
that's what I'm saying.
I think that's like my only chance, even at 600,
Yeah.
of getting it under retail value or going rate right now.
Yeah. I would say that you message this guy and hit him with 500. See if maybe he'll meet you in the middle. Maybe he'll dip it down to 550.
problem is getting it seen.
I know. We'll think of something, but
I gotta think of something.
that'll
Is there a way? Is there... I'm my mind's going, is there a way?
I'm telling you right now, aneurysm. It's happening in like 5 seconds.
He's getting a stroke at 40 years old.
I'm gonna like freaking pee my pants
How old are
right
you?
now.
44? How old is this? Can you get the senior discount at McDonald's yet?
I'll be 45 in July.
Jesus
Damn, I'm
fucking
old.
Christ. Well, you're not that old. You're not that far from us. My
What,
older
you
brother
guys
is
are
closer.
like 31.
Yeah, okay. I wish I was back in that. This is fun. We need to have guests sign and collect more
Yes,
often
we do.
so we can just throw our weight around.
Yes, we do.
Well, the other thing is, I got a bid right now on Ghouls and Ghosts for Sega Master System.
Oh, wait until that one's done then.
And
See if you get that
it
one.
ends. Fuck me, man. Sonic the Hedgehog ends in less than a day. Ghouls and Ghosts ends in a day and 7 hours.
Oh no!
Oh, fuck.
Actually, we'll see if it stays there.
And it's already at 112.50, which I shouldn't be spending. My max bid's 125, so I need. Oh, this will end by the
It's a
time.
good thing I'm not married, man, because if I was married, your wife would have put me in a grave a long time
Well,
ago.
the other thing is, with all the stuff I just bought, I think I spent like $200. And I'm kind of interested in that Maxi 15 at Coliseum's Games too,
Yeah.
because I've never seen one.
It kills you because
120.
you're so close to the
that-
end of the Master System shit,
Yeah.
right?
That's the thing that's killing me.
Yeah, it's like that, and like that's kind of the point of this episode. It's like
The prices,
they are just
Especially
going
since-
through the roof.
since 2020.
Yeah,
Because
Yep.
I was telling, I think it was Andy or Kevin, I was telling someone that this Ghouls and Ghosts, I think last year, even 2020, complete in box was like 80 to 100. Now it's pushing 125 to 150. Galaxy Force 1 came up.
Oh, that was
They want 260 for the auction. Buy it now. And that was like
$50, $60, right?
somewhere around
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
Maybe
a couple
pushing
years.
80 complete in box.
yeah.
It's like, shit. I mean, technically, I could go out and buy the last 6 loose. So that'd be Sonic, Buster Douglas, Ghouls and Ghosts, Spider-Man, Galaxy Force. It'd be under $1,000 for all 6 loose.
Buster Douglas is what, 300?
Buster Douglas, 3 to 4.
Oh, okay.
Sonic, that Mercari was 40.
Yep.
And then Spider-Man, it's another PAL game. So loose, it's another sticker one that
20
came here
or
as
30.
a PAL.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
20 to 30. And then Ghouls and Ghosts, I could pay. Oh, I forgot Moonwalker I need. Moonwalker, I could maybe 50. Ghouls and Ghosts, 50 to 80.
Oh yeah.
And then
easily.
there's one more, Galaxy Force. I don't know. Probably 50 to 80.
And that would technically complete your
It
set.
completed, but I'm so close to completing box.
Yeah.
Right.
And piecing together Sega Master System games are a nightmare.
Well,
Oh,
it's,
yeah.
Yeah.
Even just trying to find manuals
Because
for,
there's
like
just
PS2
manuals.
and stuff, it's impossible.
Like
Yeah.
Nintendo, it's so easy.
Oh yeah.
It was around so much. Sega Master System was not around that long.
No, and it didn't sell very well in the United States, which makes
No.
it even more difficult.
Which
Yeah.
is why most people think Genesis is the first system that was here.
No, it
Sega
wasn't,
Master
man.
System.
Sega
Right.
Master
And
was the
not
one
only that-
competed with the Nintendo.
The Sega consoles were around in Japan a lot longer before they came here. They had the Sega Mark 1, Mark 2. Sega Mark 3 is the Sega Master System here in the US.
Jesus. And even
So-
our Genesis had 3 versions.
Yeah, we had the 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
That's funny in Europe, which is why you see a lot more of the PAL versions running around. The Sega Master System and the Sega Mega Drive sold a heck of a lot better in
Yeah.
Europe than it did
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
And
I don't know why that is, but it did.
well, the Master System out in Europe was it went well, and Brazil Tectoy was out in Brazil for the Sega Master System, and I thought they were still making games in the 2000s out in Brazil,
Holy shit.
Good lord.
if I remember correctly. And The weird thing with the Master System, now we're on a Master System podcast, but, is
It's a video game podcast.
it actually I believe it was initially Sega, or was it Tonka? Tonka was one of them. Sega or Tonka distributed the Master System here. It might have been Tonka first, and then it switched over.
Isn't like the
to
toy truck
Sega.
company?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Really?
It was one or the
no
other.
different than in I think Europe. Nintendo was distributed by Mattel, or that was in Canada. In Canada,
Mattel makes
It was
sense,
Mattel.
though.
I
It's a
think
toy company.
I
Tonka
bet you
still
what
a
it
toy
was.
company.
Seeing this was their first company, I bet you they had American company Tonka distribute it in the U.S. first, and then Sega took it over
they had
after
a
they
wider reach
established.
at that
I
point.
suppose
because
that's
they were
right.
yeah,
larger and more established.
how much of it was just to have the backing to be able to hit the market?
I
Bingo.
think that's what it was. Probably Tonka was first, and then finally they went out and Sega took it over.
It's just weird to think about like things that are not video game centric,
sure.
like Milton Bradley putting a couple games on the NES.
If you look
for all
on the
intents and
back,
purposes, they're
you'll
not.
see Tonka on some of them.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
So,
Huh.
I don't know, interesting tidbits.
Yeah.
Oh
But-
yeah, the Master System is Sega in general. Their run is very fascinating to me.
Well, and then, like we said earlier, the Master System in Europe, it
It's huge.
it was
Dominating.
huge. There's games. Ninja Gaiden came out,
Yeah.
and one of the games I want to get for the Master System. But they have so many games out there, good games, that did not come out in North America. There's
That's
so
happened
many
with-
I want.
That's happened with like every system.
Just about.
Yeah, look at all the Genesis or
A lot
Super
of
Nintendo
Japanese,
RPGs
man.
that never came.
A lot
here.
of them I want for the Super Nintendo.
God's sakes, all the Final Fantasies that were released in Japan that we
Yeah.
never got here.
Terranigma. Yeah, I mean, what's that one that's coming to Switch? That Live Alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Treasure Hunter G, Dual Orbs. Like you have all these super Treasure of Rudra's.
Or we get
those
them
Enix ones.
like way later, like Second Detsu 3. We just
Yeah.
got on Switch as.
Oh yeah.
Or Jesus, like the
Is it-
Romancing Saga games. Like we've had what 2 and 3 came out on Switch
I
on
wish
the
they
virtual
released
store.
all
Like
them here.
it's just so bizarre. The games that they decided
And
back then came here and
You
did.
can't import them because you can't
play 'em.
RPGs you need to read.
Yeah.
That's one of the few great advantages for like emulators.
Or ROMs.
Oh,
Because
patching
you
the
can do the
translation
fan
patch.
translation patches, and some of those are actually translated better than professional translated
Yeah.
stuff.
That's why
which
I-
is weird.
I do have a few like repro carts for my SNES. I have Terranigma because that one's such a good fucking game.
Yeah.
Seiken 3. I
and
want to
then
say
wasn't what is it, Mother?
yeah.
Oh, Mother.
I got I
Earthbound,
have
Mother.
a NES
Yeah.
card of Mother.
Yeah, that's the
that
one I'm
Tim
thinking
got
of.
me for Christmas one year.
It's fan translated.
Yeah.
So
There was another one I had. Bahamut Lagoon. I have for the SNES.
Is that
and-
part of the Lagoon series?
No,
It's
it's a strategy RPG.
It's a Square.
Is it different?
Yeah, it's Square. And then I have Treasure of Rudra's. Yeah, it's scary. I have like a site that I go to where I every so often peruse their repro carts, and I always think about getting them, and then I don't.
Oh yeah. By
But
the
it's
way,
kind of neat.
I just deleted the eBay app off my phone.
God damn it! Well,
Wow.
so much for that.
No, I didn't. But
Of course you didn't. He's still mulling it over and over here. He's gonna drop.
Besides, he doesn't look on the app anyways. He looks on the website.
Yeah.
guys.
God, what a guy.
Oh,
He's about to drop a poopy straight in his pants on the street. He's still thinking about it.
I am.
Well,
Well,
this has been a good
I don't know.
discussion.
This has been a good
We
discussion.
kind of
Anytime-
sidetracked a lot. I think again.
Anytime when we can put Chris and make him like
Poop his pants.
physically ill.
I wish
with
people could
stress.
see him.
Mm-hmm.
He's bobbing back and forth like a mental
Oh,
patient.
But I
Oh,
do
this
have to
has
go to
been-
the bathroom. I really gotta go.
Oh, I suppose that's true.
But I
So
don't.
good.
It's like a weeble wobble.
I don't think I can get up to go though after that
Oh.
show.
Well, no, I think we stuck on topic for the most part. I mean, price charting was centric.
Well, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, we had only a few diversions here and there. You know, it's typical.
You know what you need to do is like a reminiscing, going back 80s, 90s, kind of the time. You know how
Oh.
video gaming was, or the culture,
Even just the culture.
playground
Yes.
culture that
Yeah.
no one knows about if you
Absolutely.
didn't live through it.
Yeah.
And coming through going from cartridge to CD technology.
Oh my god.
Memory card.
My mind was blown the first
The
time
video
I saw
store. I mean, you could
fucking,
have
like,
just one
Saturn.
podcast just on the rental stores, probably.
Oh, of course.
And I mean, if you did not live during that time,
Oh my god, how excited
just so
kids were like
different.
on the playground. Like if somebody was like, "Hey,
the new Nintendo
I know-
Power came
I
out.
know what the contra code is
Yes.
to get 30 lives."
Peekaboo the Pokegod, when Gold and Silver was releasing and there was a new gen of Pokemon, people went fucking apeshit.
I could believe that. I
Yeah.
could believe
Hell,
that.
just
I
pushing the
remember.
truck in Pokemon Red and Blue.
Yeah, to get Mew.
The nude code, the legendary Lara Croft nude
Oh,
code.
yeah.
Lara
Tomb
Croft.
Raider
You,
2.
you know how many times I tried that and it never worked?
Oh no,
fuck yeah.
I spent hours trying to get it to
I'm
work.
like, this isn't
Run
working.
through the thing, then dive off the diving board into the water and close
and
it
then
pop
swim,
off.
yeah, and then swim all the way to the end, come out, and she should come out without any clothes on.
It was just so.
There's still a part of me that believes that actually is real.
It's just commented out in the code. It's in
I'm
the code. It's
surprised
just
nobody
commented out.
has actually done that. Like made a
A
patch or
patch?
something for the
Oh, just
There
to make it, yeah.
There probably was.
PC.
Well, I know there was probably just a new code.
That's
but
like-
I have a feeling they didn't do. You had to go through those hoops to make it happen.
It's like in
I
one of
just
the-
want somebody to make that happen.
In one of the magazines I showed Andy, there was a there was
Oh, fuck
there was a
off.
code that Akuma is an
Akuma.
unlockable character.
Oh, I remember that
in Resident
one.
Evil 2.
It was the April Fool's one though, wasn't it? Though.
It wasn't. It was a real code.
Was it?
And I sent it to him, and he's like, "No shit,
Fuck
Akuma's
off.
in there."
See,
it's like,
fuck you, pricks.
No.
Yes, it was April
it was
fucking
the April
Fool's.
Okay, all
Fool's
right.
joke.
It was an EGM or Game Pro one.
I
thought.
said, yeah, it was EGM too. I sent it to him, like, "You guys remember this?" Thinking they're gonna
Andy
be
was like,
Sorry,
yeah.
it's
thinking
not
like-
working.
yeah, thinking like.
No fucking way.
I said, "Do you guys remember this? Like, do you remember this April Fool's joke? Like, God, the things that we believed when we read them in magazines." And he's like, "Whoa, you really? Like, who's gonna beat the game 7 times?" And I'm just like, okay.
Fuck you, dude. All right, I had
yes.
a moment where I
You have to
relived
get
the
an A
moment.
The
ranking.
glory days
An
of when
A
we were
ranking
younger.
on scenario A and B, only using the combat knife or a pistol.
You
That's
shoulda
it.
came back.
7 times, complete
I
times.
did it. It worked. I'm playing as him right now.
If it was in a magazine, it can't possibly be a lie.
I mean, this.
If it's on the internet, it's real.
It's true.
It has to be. It's real to me, damn it.
See, this is the stuff I'm talking about. I mean, you went.
Oh,
I mean, they did the April Fools, but then you went and your Nintendo Power came in the mail. You
yeah.
expected something to come, your
Yeah.
subscription.
Oh, yeah.
Holy shit, there is a level select code for Little Nemo. Ninja Gaiden 2 had the code for the sound.
Yeah.
It's like,
Oh, before
here's a-
people even knew, like even Super
The-
Mario
the sound
Brothers,
test.
even Super Mario Brothers, just holding
Holding
the A
A to
button so that you
continue.
continue on the world that you were on.
That's why
That's
I love
huge.
the
And I love
classified
that.
information section of
And
Nintendo
you-
Power was amazing back in the day.
and you would go
Tips and
in
Tricks was better.
and talk about that.
I was big into tips and tricks because they always had at the very end they had the whole section of just codes.
Just
for
page after
video
page,
games.
sorted by system.
Oh, I remember that. I have the Mortal
so good.
Kombat 2 one.
Feel like I had one of them that had a Legend of Legaia, where it had the well, it must have been the PlayStation one, where it had all of the combos for the moves.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
sounds
was like
familiar.
a full page. Of
Yeah, I think
like
they did
all the
something
move
like that for
combos.
Xenogears as well, for all the death blows.
Yeah.
I mean, just the whole podcast of that, man, you can do.
Oh yeah.
It's just, oh my god, it just takes you back. And you get that new code, and then you're telling it to everyone, and then you have to try it. You have someone come over, you go over to their house, and you're trying this
Well,
out.
and see, that's the other part is like the nostalgia of like games
no
having
online.
like the games having stuff in them to unlock.
I mean, Jesus, I remember
I miss
just
all
fucking
that.
getting my mind blown when you did the fatalities in Mortal Kombat.
Oh,
Because they weren't in the manual.
I
So
had the
hold-
magazine open.
Yeah, holding block and hitting up with Scorpion, and
Or
he takes
how to
the
get
mask
to
off and he
Reptile.
fucking blows him up.
How to get to Reptile in Mortal
Yeah.
Kombat
yeah,
2.
Mortal Kombat 1.
Or-
He was the secret fighter in Mortal Kombat 1.
In one, I'm
he
thinking.
was
I'm
a
thinking
playable-
of the
Oh, Smoke.
pit
Smoke in
I
in
thought Noob Saibot.
No, that was
That was
3.
2. That was 2.
Was that 2?
Oh my god, you're talking to the Mortal Kombat guy here. Yeah.
Okay,
So
there's one in
Reptile at the
Mortal
bottom of the
Kombat
pit.
2.
This is
in
why
the
I was
pit.
always a Killer Instinct
Mortal Kombat
guy.
1 in the bottom of the pit. So if you were on the pit stage, you beat your opponent, 2 flawless victories, and then you've performed your fatality. At the end of it, you would fight Reptile at the bottom of the pit.
Was there one for Mortal Kombat 2?
Yes.
In the pit.
Not on the pit stage. There was
Something with the moon or something. I remember.
That's Mortal Kombat 1. The shadow that would fly by the moon or something like that. That had to happen as well too.
It was like a witch on a broom.
So what was
something
2?
like that. 2 had smoke, where if you held down and pushed start when the toasty guy came up, toasty,
I think that's what I'm thinking of.
then you face smoke. If you use only kicking moves in the fight before the question mark block, then you would fight what's her name? The green ninja Jade.
Which one was Ermac?
Ermac wasn't
Rain
until
was full.
he was a playable
Gold?
character in Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3.
Oh, okay.
So Ermac was actually
Error macro.
Well, yeah, it was meant to be an error macro,
Right,
so
right.
that the arcade, like when they could go into the settings and see, like, okay, was there any errors that were encountered, and somebody saw error macros or Ermacs, and they're like, who's Ermac? Ermac encounters, and they're like, who's Ermac? And they thought that Ermac was a real character. Well, there was such a fervor for Ermac being a real character that they ultimately made him a real character in
Because
Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3.
he was like the 2, like Cyrax and
He was-
who was the
No,
other
he
guy?
was a red. He was a red ninja.
hooded.
He was a red ninja.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought there was another one that was kind of like
There
the
was
2 robot
Cyrax
guys.
and,
Cyrax and the other. I don't
Smoke.
know who
They made
Smoke.
they made a robot version of Smoke
Oh,
that
yeah,
was
that's
like
what I'm
him.
You could do a whole podcast on Mortal Kombat.
Oh, hell yeah,
Shit,
you
man.
could.
fighting games in general. Oh man. Especially back then, like. Yeah.
But I mean, just the pure excitement of like, yeah, oh my god, the excitement of
just getting the blood code.
so
We're already doing the new podcast right now.
what I remember. Okay, I was really big into Mortal Kombat, and I played Mortal Kombat Trilogy at a person I went to school with. I can't even really call him a friend because he wasn't ever.
What a
I don't
prick.
think he was ever my friend.
You're a real asshole.
No, it wasn't me. It was the other way around. I don't think he ever considered me a friend, but I would come over because
So like our relationship,
yeah, exactly.
I consider you a lover.
No, but he had a PlayStation. Yeah, he had a PlayStation, and so he had Mortal Kombat Trilogy, and that was the first time I had ever seen a move called the Brutality, where it was basically
Yes.
just
Babality.
The
yes,
babalities.
Babalities was number 2.
Friendships.
Oh my God, you and 2. Jeez. But anyway,
Animalities.
that was 3.
I know.
Shitty CGI graphics.
But you had Brutality.
Sorry, that was the
and I
movie.
was just like, oh my god, these are so cool. And I had Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, which at one point I actually felt like, oh man, I feel like Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 is kind of like the inferior version of Trilogy, and honestly, it's not. It's
No, Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 is my favorite.
It's my favorite too.
I have that one.
I will never forget how excited I was when I think I was Classic Sub-Zero, and I used a high punch, and it didn't end the like, you know how if you punch somebody and it just
knocks them
automatically
over, yeah.
it automatically knocks them over, and then it goes to like your victory
Right,
pose
right.
and stuff like that. It didn't do that, and I'm like, why wouldn't it do that? So then I pressed
Kept doing it?
I pressed the button twice, and it's like on the second try it knocked him down. Then I was like, okay, so I'll YX, and it didn't knock him down.
Oh,
and I'm
you were
like,
piecing it together.
and I was
by-
like, oh my god, are brutalities actually in this game? Did they make brutalities in Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3? And I never knew that. It's because it wasn't printed in any of the magazines. It wasn't printed like, here's the list of brutalities for the characters. So when I first realized that there was brutalities, I'm like, my brain was just like, I discovered something that not even the magazines knew. There are brutalities in the Super Nintendo version of Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. Whoa!
That's
and I
crazy.
just I wanted to shout it from the rooftops like, I found this! Nobody told me! I found it myself! And I did. For the first brutality I pieced together for Classic Sub-Zero, I pieced together, match by match, the 12 or 14 button
Oh my god.
combination
Mapped it
in
out.
order to do the brutality.
Ridiculous.
And I was just so freaking excited about that.
See,
But it's
Mortal Kombat was incredible too because it was the only series to do things like that.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't have finishers like that in Street Fighter. You didn't have it in King of Fighter. You didn't have it in Guilty Gear. Any of these games,
Well,
Samurai
and that's-
Showdown did not have fatalities.
Guilty Gear had its own version of fatalities.
and Killer Instinct did
Because you
too.
got to remember, Guilty Gear had the instant kill system.
That's not the same thing though.
I mean,
You
granted, yeah,
still
they're not
had-
as
I think
they're not as graphic as like what Mortal Kombat was, but
Right.
it had its own unique version of.
They had the
something.
instant kill moves, sure,
Yeah.
but like there was never anything in at least for my recollection where like you had to finish the match to get to the finish him type thing,
Yeah.
where you had that extra step where you could
Thrill
do
kill,
this
but it
cool
never got
thing.
released.
Yeah.
Would have had them.
Yeah, so like fatalities even now were never really a thing until
Well,
Mortal Kombat.
And it's funny because
Or
even in magazines, but it's like that's where like nowadays you just go to the internet, you can find whatever you
Right.
want about a certain game. But it's like I remember trying to do the animalities in Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, and what I didn't know at the time, although I'll continue this before I preface that, is that I could do the Mercy, which was what you had to do in order to unlock the animalities. And every time I would do the combination, it just wouldn't do it. And I'm like, okay, am I not doing it right? Like, why can't I do this? And
were the mercies the same as like the friendships, or was that something
no,
different?
Mercy basically gave the person a sliver of their life back to try to battle for their
Ooh,
life.
battle for their life.
And that was the
Interesting.
only way that you could do an animality was after finishing them that second time after the Mercy. Then you could do the animality.
Oh, interesting.
What I didn't realize at the time, and I thought, man, my game must be broken. Like, I can't do anybody's animality. Like, I can do everything else. I can even do brutalities, but I can't do animalities. No strategy guide ever said that the Super Nintendo version didn't have animalities. So I thought something was broken with my game. Turns out it wasn't. The game just couldn't fit everything on the cartridge, so they got rid of Shiva. Was one of the characters that should have been on the game, but she couldn't fit on there.
Which one was
and
she?
She was the female Goro.
She the female
basically.
Goro?
Yeah,
That's what I thought.
And animalities were not programmed into the game because they just couldn't fit it.
See, I have Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 for the Saturn. I want to say.
Animalities are on there, but guess what? Brutalities are not on that one.
How bizarre.
I know. It's so strange.
The ones I played the most, Mortal Kombat 2 on
You don't say.
on Super Nintendo.
Go
But-
figure. I didn't
and-
see that one coming.
But the one I really played, I played more than that, was Mortal Kombat 3 on PlayStation. We'd always
Yeah. Yeah, the long box one, right?
I have the long box
Yep,
one.
I do too.
And during the summer, my parents would go to the trailer out in up by the Dells, but then they got one by Rock River. So I would have been high school, starting college. I'd stay home and invite some friends over, and we do some drinking.
And
A little bit of
And we-
dubage, huh?
No, we
No,
just drink.
drinking.
We
Just
Maybe
just drink.
maybe a little nose candy, huh? Get
I'll have
hyped
to-
up and then beat the fuck out of each other in Mortal Kombat.
It's where Fight Club
An
came from.
actual
Fight Club.
right? No, I'd
Fight
have
Club's
to,
based on
have
Vanderhoef's
to
life.
do some snorting to get Sonic the Hedgehog for Sega Master System. Nah. So we go hang out. And Mortal Kombat 3 was usually the game.
Oh yeah, that was
And-
the hot one at the time.
Cabal was my guy.
Oh, yeah,
Fuck
Cabal
Cabal.
he was the best.
I love Cabal. I knew his.
Baraka?
his-
Him and
his-
Baraka wasn't in 3.
I know I'm fucking with you.
I always used his I
Striker?
knew his best combination. Everyone would get pissed because
Pissed at
I
you,
just
yep.
kicked their
It was a
ass
9,
with
if
Cabal.
I'm not mistaken, it was a 9-hit combo that did 45% of their life total in damage.
It was just
Like
so
you
we
literally
loved
twice.
that game.
Yeah.
And he was my guy. And I think
He was-
Baraka was for
Two.
two
Yeah.
is the one I used the
For
most.
Mortal Kombat 3, it was always Cabal and Sub-Zero were my two guys.
Sub-Zero was the
I
other one.
liked-
Striker
because
didn't
I always
like.
Fucking
Striker
I always like Sub-Zero.
I like
Sub-Zero's
Sub-Zero's my other one.
Sub-Zero's the Ryu of fucking Mortal Kombat.
I mean, that's a whole nother subject. Arcades, man.
Fuck
Oh my
yeah.
goodness. I remember when I worked at Shopco, they had that Mortal Kombat 1 machine sitting there. And we'd go and play that too.
I remember. It's so funny because you can tell that the people who are our age, they miss the old arcade feels, because now as the arcade scene is dying, you're starting to see a lot more what they call quote unquote barcades, where it's bars that have arcade games in it.
I mean, hell, you're seeing a resurgence in those 1-up arcade machines.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, could you ever have imagined that as a kid?
No.
But just,
No, because arcades.
I couldn't even imagine owning an actual arcade game
Yeah.
like at my house.
Yeah.
Because they were they were super expensive, and then 1-Up was like, we
So
could do
heavy.
it better for cheaper
Mm-hmm.
Not
while
anymore,
saving
no.
size.
Yeah.
I mean, how much are one of those machines roughly? $400?
They
1-Up?
used to be 400. Now
Now
they're
they're
about
up there.
500, I think, 500 to
There's
600.
the newest one that came out is like 700 now.
Because, I mean,
Yeah.
the only arcade machine I've ever actually owned was the original Marvel vs. Capcom.
I remember.
I bought that machine from,
Those things are
God, it had to be
so
eBay.
heavy.
And I picked it up in Illinois somewhere. We ended up taking a day trip down to Illinois in my
It sat in the
van.
back with no seats.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
bought
I
it
remember
in...
that.
Smushed between the arcade and the sliding door
I
on the
wanna say
van.
It was Joliet, Illinois. We picked it up, and it took us 3 hours to get it into my second floor apartment because the arcade machine was as wide as the
As the
stairs.
entrance
We
way.
couldn't make the pivots up the landing, and we
Except-
ended up stuck there.
Except you actually had a really sweet apartment layout because you were able to put it in a little alcove where it's like, oh my
Supposed
god,
to be like
this,
the dinner table.
this thing was like, it was meant to be there.
Yes.
Like it was.
I think I
perfect
still have
in
the
there.
pictures of it. It was amazing. We somehow got it up there. It took 5 of us to get it up
Yeah.
into that apartment. It did not come down in
No,
one piece.
it didn't.
Unfortunately, there was an issue with the sound or the monitor, but it ended up crapping out on me. I saved the board. I do have the board somewhere. I think either you have it or
I've got the joysticks.
Yeah.
Or the joystick console, and I have the marquee as well.
But we ended
Funny.
up destroying the cabinet in my apartment before I moved out.
that
It
sucks.
broke
Yeah.
my heart to do.
Oh,
'Cause I
yeah.
want to say I spent maybe $400 on it. But man, was that cool. I always wanted a Marvel vs. Capcom 2 authentic arcade machine. That
Yeah.
Time Crisis I always wanted, or the Time Crisis 2 where it was the dual screens. But Jesus, did you need a lot of room?
Mm-hmm.
Paul had an
Fair
Altered
play.
Beast growing.
I did
at one
when I
point.
was I was in
Oh,
college.
we're up.
Yeah.
Well, and mine wasn't actually even the original. It wasn't the original cabinet. It was actually a converted Mario Bros. Cabinet that they put in the board for Altered Beast and got the marquee for.
God, I want to
Oh,
say though your
man.
sound didn't work.
Yeah, the sound didn't work, but I also
Yeah.
bought it for like $75.
Yeah.
That's
But man,
not
was
bad.
that cool.
75.
Yeah, $75.
So that's why I kind of want one of those the custom ones.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
basically
What do they
it's
call it?
almost like a-
Evercades?
yeah.
something like that, but it's basically
It's a small computer.
Yeah, it's just a small
It's
computer.
basically a computer,
with,
with a monitor in it.
with the
yeah.
MAME emulator and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and some of them have like the light guns on the side that you can use. You get the different like board control layouts. You can either do like the single player one or the 4-player ones, and those aren't much bigger than the 1-Up arcades, but they have so much more on them.
And there is just something to be said about hearing the the clacking of the buttons and the feel of the joystick. Like even
Oh yeah.
even these 1-Up arcade things are cool, but
It doesn't emulate
not the
it
same.
perfectly.
quite the
It's
same
not
feeling. And
perfectly.
I don't know what it is. There's just something off about it that just doesn't quite feel. I don't know if it's the monitors are just too crisp, or if it's just they don't have the curve. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
You're also missing the slight hum of the CRTs from all the
Did I
systems
being
running.
inside
of
The,
it.
Turning
the
on that
smell,
fucking-
the smell of the disinfectants and carpet cleaners and stuff they used, all of that compounding together.
Even turning
Without
on
that, your brain is just like, there's something not here with what I'm
Oh,
expecting.
I wish I could go back.
Like turning on my Marvel vs. Capcom machine and just the sound of it, that just the feel of just there's something about it that just like Paul has an X-Men versus Street Fighter one back here,
Mm-hmm.
and it's something is not quite the same. It's
Well, I mean-
close.
Well, I mean, they're what is it, like 3/4? Like
Yeah.
they're a little bit smaller. I think the first one that they are making, I'm not sure if it's released yet, but Killer Instinct is going to be their first.
Fuck Killer
Is going to be
Instinct.
their first ever full size arcade machine. Like it's
Aren't
going
they
to be
still
a
doing
one.
one that is the same size as these though? for Killer Instinct?
They might. I don't know, but I just saw that Killer Instinct is the one that they are doing one for one. So it's going to be the
That's
exact same
cool.
size as the arcade machine.
Wish it had been a better game, but you know.
Hey, shut up.
Killer Instinct
I
is
liked
fucking trash.
Killer Instinct. I loved it. Saber Wolf was my
Blaster combo. What the fuck is Blaster?
Blaster.
Oh, that's right.
Combo breaker.
Ultra.
Ultra.
I just remember the meme of all the presidents, and then you get to Barack Obama, and it says combo breaker.
I never saw that.
It just makes me laugh.
I don't think it's Killer Instinct.
Huh?
Primal Rage.
It's not Killer Instinct because it's on a box too.
Is it
Oh, it
Tobal
is.
number 1? No.
No, I thought
Is
that...
it Fur Fighters?
Fur Fighters. I got that on 32X and
it might
Sega
be
CD.
NBA Jam
I like that one.
No.
Shaq Edition. It's not on a box.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Okay, if it's that one, then
Shaq
yeah, maybe
edition.
it's that
Oh
one.
god, NBA
Top.
Jam in the arcades was fucking money.
He's on fire. My brother had an
NFL Blitz.
had a
Oh yeah, because
NBA
this
Jam
one is
machine.
67-inch tall with a 19-inch screen for the first time.
Fuck yeah.
So they're doing the NBA Jam is a full size one. The rest of them aren't.
That was one thing you and I had talked. Well, I don't know if you and I talked about it. It was one thing I had always dreamed of doing was opening an arcade again.
I wanted one. I wanted
yeah.
to do that.
I just want to convert my basement to an
Just
arcade.
do like a barcade thing where it's drinks and stuff.
I
no
always
kids.
want an arcade.
Like you have to be 21 or older to
The only
get
problem I
in.
have with that is like people wanting to put drinks by the machines or food.
Oh no, they would not. They would not be allowed to.
Like it's
there
like
would be a designated eating and drinking area, and then you can play.
But
the
you
game.
guys need to go to the Garcade up in
Yeah.
Is that McGuanago? No.
The what
Menominee
now?
Falls.
Oh.
I've been there 3 times. I think it's $15 to get in, get a wristband, in and out, good for the whole day,
Yeah.
and it's all free play.
Well, I've heard like Galloping Ghosts down in Illinois is supposed to be
I've never
super
been there,
good.
but I've heard it's good.
Galloping Ghost is the largest arcade in the Midwest.
Yeah.
And it's, I think, just outside
2
of Chicago.
stories?
It's just outside
Or
of
is it
Chicago.
just one?
I think it's just one, but it's very big.
Oh, I'm
It
thinking.
is.
I'm
It's
thinking.
huge, I heard.
You're thinking,
thinking
of
Fun
Spot is 5 floors,
That's
and,
in New
the one
Hampshire.
out
and that's
east,
in
right?
New Hampshire. Yeah.
Is that the one where you went and he got mad because you
Oh,
didn't
I didn't
take
get
him?
mad. He just didn't fucking tell me he went.
That's what it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's done that a lot over.
he's
the
done
course
that
of our
multiple times to
relationship.
places that we've talked about going as a group. And
Centralia, Pennsylvania
Yep,
was a big one.
Centralia, Pennsylvania. The
Silent
inspiration
Hill.
for
Is
Silent
that the
Hill.
Yeah. Silent Hill, the movie. The movie.
Movie.
Not the game, the movie.
Yeah, is that there's supposedly a
We're
pit,
so off track.
a pit that nobody knows what the bottom is in some place.
Oh, it's Pit Fighter.
Wait, what?
Oh God, what is
A pit?
there? So it's not Centralia, but there's rumors of this hole in the ground. It's like a well or something, but nobody's ever been able to get to the bottom.
Oh, yeah,
of it.
yeah. I was there 2 years ago. I'm just kidding.
Did you-
Of course you
No.
But yeah, like people throw stuff in or they put cameras in, but they still can't find the bottom of this hole. It's like the hole to hell or something like. I have
well,
a picture of it.
there's the
Devil's
burning
Mouth or
pit to
something.
hell that I know, like that. It's a hole that's on fire and can't put it out.
Yeah.
The deepest hole in the world is in like Russia or something like that, where they mined. It's only some small fraction of the way down into like through the crust of the planet, but it's the deepest man-made hole on the planet. And
Yeah. But it's supposed like there's all these cool places that Paul has been to that we've never been invited.
yeah.
It's just his life. That's basically been it. He's like the worst simultaneous. He's simultaneously the worst and best friend that a person could have. The best because he's steadfast in his devotion, but the worst because he does not want you involved in his life at all. I mean,
Doesn't
Like I
tell
said,
us he
we've been
moved
talking about
out. He doesn't
well-
tell us.
So, well, it's a good way to put it.
hey guys, I gotta cut out early today because I'm having a barbecue with some friends. Oh, really? That one, we're not invited, right? He doesn't tell us. It's just the funniest things.
Okay, to my defense for that one,
He's embarrassed about us.
you guys were here, and I was going to say, since we're already recording, just stay. And
Didn't
you
though.
guys,
He
and
didn't.
you guys were
He
like,
didn't though. He didn't. He just looked at us and said, "We're having people over."
Yeah, that's why I have to quit. I have to go. Oh yeah, there's people upstairs. What? What people?
And I said,
yeah, we're having a party.
Yeah, we're having a party. Why don't you guys stay?
Man,
I'm
I
dressed
didn't
for
even
that.
get invited.
Oh
Right?
my God! It's not like you need a
Jeez,
suit
I
or
didn't know
something.
about this
He's like-
until now.
Like I said, he's
Yes.
simultaneously the worst and best friend a guy could have.
That's it. I'm leaving. Leaving.
That's right, Paul. Leave our basement.
Paul's got a poop.
But yeah, we could. I mean, we did a good. That was a pretty good segue
we
right there.
so sideways.
But that's the fun of the Powercast. The Powercast doesn't. You don't control the Powercast. The Powercast controls you.
Oh man, we went so
You go where the
sideways.
flow takes you. But I suppose since Paul has dipped out, that's a good spot to end this episode. You will be back because we could go on for many things.
There are so many things, so many memories, so many.
Oh yeah, the
Things
80s,
that are
90s.
It's so different now.
Oh,
Even
yeah.
2000s, 2010s for sure going on.
Well, I don't know about all that because that was when things started to turn to trash.
Well, that's what I mean. Things are so different, you know, starting probably 2010 compared to when we were kids, at least with all of this.
Oh yeah,
Culture,
absolutely.
you know, prices as was discussed, magazines, physical media.
Physical media,
I mean,
starting
it's
to
just-
dwindle. Yeah, it's just everything. Well, that was one topic of conversation we wanted to have is the decline of even comic books. The comic book industry itself is
really?
dying. Yeah, it's
Yes. I know. I just saw something recently with that. Is like DC hasn't been able to crack like the top 10 comics for I don't know how long at this point for sales per month or something like that.
Really?
Yeah, it's something
I mean,
weird.
isn't Marvel even struggling as far as their physical print? I mean, basically your
sad.
entire thing is shifting to their. What are you gonna do? Like their movies are such gangbusters too. It's like, why even bother putting out comics anymore?
I want the physical item in my hand. I mean,
Right?
I just remember
And that's the thing. It's like comics are one of those
playing
things
a
where it's
video
like,
game with the guide or
yeah, like people who are like heavy into comic books, like they want that physical thing. Like digital just isn't the same as holding the book. As you know, it's just there's something about it. And to me, gaming is kind of the same way. We've had this discussion over physical versus digital,
I
which
don't do digital.
there is one argument that will be held for digital. You know, the past few games I've pre-ordered, I've had to wait like a week past its release date, even though for physical, because the shipping has been such a disaster lately
Oh, that's because of the pandemic.
because of everything. Like
And
just and it's even availability in and of itself. Like things are harder to get a hold of, so it's like physical. It's the one thing. Like digital, I have it midnight the day that game releases.
Actually,
There's
because of
no
where we're
stock. I don't
especially
have to
because
worry
where
about them
we're
running out.
located. If it comes out on a Friday, you get it at 11 p.m. Thursday night. You can
Yeah.
start playing.
So it's like, it's hard sometimes to justify getting physical when digital, I can just have it. Like,
The only
I don't
thing
have
is-
to worry about them selling out. Like,
Consoles digital has to catch up with PC digital in terms of how they sell stuff, though.
right.
Because like console digital, a game that came out 6-7 years ago is still full price.
Right.
Whereas if you were to go to Steam or like the Epic Game Store, they're slashed. The price just goes down super quick.
Well,
but
digital-
consoles won't do that for some reason.
Well, yeah, because digital, Tokenin is a good example. Tokenin 2, digital is still like $40 or $50.
Yeah.
You go on like Amazon or GameStop, fucking 15. There's no reason to buy
That's
it digital until like it's on sale because they just don't. They will
And
not
it's
catch up.
like I
that
said,
way.
it's only on the consoles that they do this.
Very bizarre. Very bizarre. But, again, topic for another day. Chris, thanks for coming out again. I know you enjoy these excursions just as much as we do.
Well, now I'm gonna have an aneurysm and.
You're still going to mull it over, huh?
Well, I was
$250 off
It's
the
gonna
price.
eat at them all day.
I was getting ready to thinking about sending my message about 500 and I'm
Do it. Do it. I'm going to keep pressing you on this every day.
Holy crap.
But yes, so that'll do it for this episode of the Power Trip Gaming Powercast, Reminiscing Cast, the good old days cast. You can always hit us up on Facebook. You can hit us up on Twitter. You go to powertripgaming.tv. Takes you directly to the YouTube channel where you can watch us play games that we've done in the past. Just so many things that
Yeah, you can also listen to Andy and everybody
fucking
attack me
piece
for
of
being a
shit.
terrible friend.
That's
but-
the next podcast.
That's right, the hate cast where we hash out our differences. Sometimes you need a good old Fight Club cast.
Peer pressure into buying games.
So what, we're gonna do a boxing match in his living room like yours?
I mean, if you think about it, we don't spar anymore like we used to vent our frustrations with each other.
No, you just cut.
boxing match in the living room.
Take
Let's
it
go.
out on the
Paul,
table.
You just cut deeper.
Me and Paul's boxing match, the rematch up in Paul's living room.
Is that recorded?
Oh, the tape is already
I did
somewhere.
record our first boxing match from back in my second apartment.
Dude.
Yeah. I'll have to find it
I want
someday.
to see that.
Oh my god.
It was terrible.
It was the dumbest thing
I
ever.
want Subway.
And for some reason, my stupid ass pointed the camera at a light, so it's like the color's all shitty.
Were you
It's-
guys drunk?
No.
No.
We did.
Oh, man.
No.
So you guys did this knowing.
Oh yeah, no. We
Oh no, we
knowingly
prepared for
did
like
it.
a month. I did P90X to prepare for this. I was in the best fucking physical shape of my
Attempted
life.
P90X.
Oh no, I didn't attempt it. I
you
did
didn't
it.
stick with it for as long as Paul stuck with working out for it.
I did it for a month.
That's nothing.
And I dieted. The only time I've ever dieted. And I did go 11 rounds with him. But granted, our boxing match was a joke. It was all haymakers. That was hilarious.
Oh,
Damn, look at that fucking
I was gonna
muscle.
say, Jesus.
Oh, my goodness, man.
But yes, but yet the motherfucker still needed our help to bring shit into his basement this morning. NESPowerTrip@gmail.com. You can send us a message if you don't feel like contacting us on social media.
You can also send hate mail to nespowertrip@gmail.com to Paul, because apparently everybody hates him.
That's right.
Everybody
Paul B.
hates Paul.
Paul B. Bashquiglia at hotmail.com.
That's not an actual.
Send him.
That's
That
not.
is 100% his
He's
email.
gonna-
That
That's
is
right.
not.
Netscape.net. For those of you guys who have that.
AOL.com.
AOL.com.
At altavista.com.
using Netscape.
That's right. Hey, I
Oh,
have Netscape.
Netscape
account.
Did you get
3.0.
that?
You're gonna have to email and request an AOL disc.
That's right. You can send it at my handle at AndyPants216 at AOL.com or at whatever the fuck AIM.
Use your Opera browser.
That's right. Opera. I fucking love it. This has been a Power Trip Gaming Powercast.
You've been listening with power.
Goddamn. Funny.
Oh,
Oh my
man.
god, I remember Opera.
Oh.
Fuck me. Netscape. Motherfucker.
Parents said Alta Vista.
I forgot about Alta
Alta Vista.